car. You don't have to do that anymore. You can look for a new ride at Volkswagen Lease Summit, where you can pick from 3 incredible promotions. Pick no payments for 90 days on any new car. I went with 0% APR for up to 60 months. That's going to save me a ton. Volkswagen Lease Summit will double your down payment. $3,000 can become $6,000. All of those are available to you. Doesn't really matter the kind of car you're looking for. Maybe you just want another small car like I had before. You want a Jetta or a Taos, a small SUV, Tiguan or an Atlas. They have a great selection. We know we wanted a Tiguan. We went in there, we said, maybe in this color family, maybe in this trim package, maybe like this. They rolled out everyone they had in the lot in front of the building and said, look through them. Figure out which one works for you. Figure out let's test drive. Let's look. They made the buying process so easy. We went in, looked at the cars, bought the same day. Everything was great. Such a great sales service staff, and it's where I'm going to continue to take it now to get those oil changes. So if you're looking for a new car, Volkswagen Lease Summit is the place for you. Just pick your car, then pick your promotion. Go to VWLeeSummit.com.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
Watching the Chiefs with some wings and an ice-cold Bud Light. And Buffalo Wild Wings is serving up both for every game, all season long. Join me at the Buffalo Wild Wings North Belt Highway in St. Joe on Friday, November 8th. I'll be there from 6 to 8 p.m. celebrating the back-to-back Super Bowl champ while eating some wings and drinking $5 Bud Lights. Nothing easier to enjoy than that. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
For more, go to 965thefan.com. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Here's another great reason to use the United States Postal Service this season. Your boxes are wrapped and the gifts are in. Our employees are ready. Let the holiday ride begin. Let's start with the price. It's easy to manage when you ship with the reliable USPS Ground Advantage. In just a few days, it's sure to arrive. We're working nonstop to keep the spirit alive. USPS Ground Advantage, the affordable and reliable shipping solution for the holidays. Visit USPS.com/advantage.
Winchester at Lake City Army Ammunition Plant in Independence is the largest manufacturer of small caliber ammunition for the U.S. military. They're hiring technicians starting at $26.72 an hour with a $1,000 hiring bonus. Excellent day one benefits include medical, dental, educational support, paid time off, and company retirement contributions up to 8%. Join Winchester and serve the U.S. warfighter. It's more than a job. It's a mission. Apply at winchester.com/careers.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It takes a lot to prepare for game day as a dedicated fan, and preparing the perfect tailgate meal might be most important of all. That's why Hellman's Real Mayonnaise is the MVP. Hellman's Mayonnaise is the secret to bring out the rich and creamy taste to all your game day dishes, from buffalo chicken dip to your favorite sub sandwich and everything in between. So give it a try, and mayo game day be delicious with Hellman's Real Mayonnaise. Shop at your local Walmart, Kroger, or grocery store, and add some extra deliciousness to your game day dishes this football season.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks VapoStick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Arvest Bank, believing in the power of serving others.
Arvest Bank believes in the power of serving others. That's why we're committed to supporting those who serve our communities. We believe that all communities deserve a financial partner who cares. Arvest. We believe.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
It is the Chiefs Red Half Hour, and we'll be talking plenty of Chiefs really for the next 90 minutes or so, honestly. A little Chiefs Red Half Hour here. Then at noon, Sean Barber, former Chiefs linebacker, going to join me in studio for at least an hour. Danon Hughes for his regular visit at 12:10 on the phone. He will be on the call Sunday afternoon out at Arrowhead. It'd be good to get his perspective on what we saw from DeAndre Hopkins in just his second game. And I was listening to Nate Taylor, who was on with Fescoe and Dusty this morning, and Nate was even saying, like, hey, D-Hop did that, and he's still kind of running basic routes. Like, he's still not even.
It's crazy to think about, yeah.
That's what's amazing about the production. And Drew just told me, I think our video stream is up now. So you guys, if you're used to watching the show on YouTube,
should be able to.
And Twitch, Twitter, all that, you can hopefully check out the show there and interact there as you guys normally would. So sorry about that. Video stream, I think, is good to go for the rest of the show, hopefully, right? That's the hope. All right, let's talk about the Chiefs offensive line a little bit here, though. And earlier we mentioned how I think it's a good test for the Chiefs defensive line because in a couple metrics, the Broncos are the second best offensive line in football. So this defensive line is going to be tested. Manufacturing blitzes will once again be key for Steve Spagnuolo. What about the Chiefs offensive line, though? I think this is all about getting to the point where they were in January last year. You guys know there were concerns about the offensive line throughout last season, in particular Jawan Taylor. And then by week 12 or so, I would say that the holding calls diminished at least enough. And you felt better about the situation that you had. Even Donovan Smith, when he went down for 4 games, Wanye Morris came in at that point and was fine. And that's probably a great way to describe what you're getting now, right? It's fine. Moments where he stands out, never a good thing for a tackle. Kingsley Suamataia, very quickly on in the season, was benched for Wanye. And could they upgrade that position? Yeah, but they're not. The upgrade's going to have to be through development in season. They didn't make a trade. You're not going to trade for a tackle in season unless you were getting Cam Robinson, which is what the Vikings did because their tackle, Dershaw, was out for the season. They're also paying Cam Robinson a ton of money. That was not a move the Chiefs were making, nor should they. So the improvement on the O-line is going to have to just come through coaching and more playing time. Let's not forget Wanye Morris still has not played even a full season worth of games, right? Like 4 last year, and what are we, 8 games in of his career this year? So he hadn't even played a full NFL season. With that, I think it's fair to say there's still room for him to improve. I don't think he's a finished product, which you would like to think would mean there's some improvement. And that's all this is about when we talk about the Chiefs offensive line. By the time they get to January, can they elevate enough? Because last year in the postseason, the offensive line played its best football. It's not a coincidence that that's also when Patrick Mahomes played some of his best football, when the team as a whole was like making less mistakes, didn't feel like they had a press. And we all know they went on the road throughout the entire postseason other than the wild card weekend. End up in the Super Bowl And here we are talking about a three-peat. I think the same thing applies. Like, yeah, I would like to see improvement against Denver from Wanye Morris. Improvement when they'll need it in a tough road environment up in Buffalo next week for a huge showdown. But I think you just need to look for gradual improvement, and can they get to a certain level by playoff time? One thing that has already happened with this team in season improvement-wise for 3 or 4 weeks is how much discussion do we have the first 5 weeks about the red zone and how that was a problem. They're not successful in the red zone. Really, since the New Orleans Saints game, so Niners, Raiders, and Bucs game, they've been way better in the red zone. They've been way better on third downs. Those are things they've improved on in season. And with the Kansas City Chiefs, more than any other team, it is truly just about gradually improving by the time you get to the playoffs. Every team would like to say, we're playing our best football come playoff time. Duh. The Chiefs have actually done that, though. That's why, when I look at Detroit, Detroit is great. Detroit is really, really good. They're probably the best team right this second in football. In terms of, like, if you were playing in a game right now, the Lions probably look the best. And I know they're not undefeated, and the Chiefs are. And it's okay to say that. We don't have to freak out. But they're peaking. Like, this is as good as it gets for the Detroit Lions. The Chiefs are nowhere near peaking. Not even close. And part of that equation for them to eventually peak, ideally, in February, in New Orleans, at the Super Bowl, that is ultimately where the Chiefs are going to have to be, and that's what the Chiefs can do. So don't be worried that Detroit might look better than Kansas City. Don't be worried yet about the offensive line. Let's see where this thing continues to develop. You know what you're getting from the interior, but it's all about where they're going to be at in January and ultimately in February. Now, one of the teams that they might end up facing in January or February could be playing tonight. So Thursday night football game, Baltimore and Cincinnati. We started the show talking about this a little bit, and I told you guys, it's very simple. I don't know if you're a Chiefs fan. If you're a Chiefs fan, why you would not be rooting for Baltimore to end this thing tonight. Just put the Bengals out of their misery. Put Drew out of his misery. False hope is a bad thing. We should all be hopeful people, but false hope also just sets you up for massive disappointment, and you'll be in a funk for a week or two, Drew. We can't have you in a funk for a couple weeks around the holidays. I don't need the reality to set in around Thanksgiving for you when you're with your wife and having a great Thanksgiving. You don't need that. Why not have that funk settle in, Monday, when you realize, or tomorrow, when you realize that your team is a 4-win football team that also got swept by the Baltimore Ravens, and it's done. And if you're a Chiefs fan, you want this to happen because Baltimore is not getting the 1 seed anyway. They're not. The math doesn't work. It is a Chiefs-Bills conversation. Maybe you want to talk yourself into the Steelers for the number 1 seed. That's it. So it's okay if Baltimore wins tonight. Why not knock out a team? Why not just eliminate a team from playoff conversation? That's what Baltimore can and I think will do tonight, as my guy Sean Barber has stepped into the studio as well. He's bright and early. Look at early. I love this. He's early, 20 minutes early. Former Chiefs linebacker. What's up, Barber?
What's the deal, Holyfield? I see you in here clamoring for the fall of our Bengals. I mean, what a tangled web we have weaved since week 1. Because I'm pretty sure I think I was pretty much the only guy on the fall of Joe Burrow and the Bengals. I knew this wasn't their year, but obviously everybody sees through some Drew-colored glasses.
Yeah, we're going to get to your guys' bet in the noon hour. I understand there's some outstanding bets. And
all over the place around here.
Yeah, and so I'm going to give you the floor in the noon hour after we talk to Dane and Hughes, and I can't wait to have him on the show as well. Then I'm going to give you a few minutes to call out. I'm going to give you the floor. You call out. And I know I owe you lunch, but that's a separate off-air bet that we made. You call out whoever owes you from this station.
One by one?
One by one.
Oh,
it's gonna take you a while. I want to give you some time in the noon hour today. You can go one by one. You can lay out the bet, what people owe you. And yes, we do know that our producer, Drew, owes you from that Cincy game all the way back in week 2, as in 2 months ago.
So we will get there in a second. But I guess while I'm having this conversation on the Thursday night game, I'll just ask you right now. What do you, I'm excited for the game tonight. I really am. I'm sure you are as well. What do you make of these two teams right now? I know it's the Chiefs red half hour, but it impacts the Chiefs in a huge way.
Always. Whenever there's a contender for the AFC title that's going to be future contender as far as the playoffs with the Chiefs, you should pay attention to it all year long. And I think when I look at it, you want to think about the highs and lows, and you want to think about the Bengals when they play their best ball. Are they feasibly a contender against the Chiefs? And then when more than likely, so far this season they've been playing some subpar ball, and that's kind of what put them in the position they are right now. But I mean, they're a little battered and beaten up. No Zach Moss anymore. I think they acquired a different running back.
Yeah, Herbert.
What kind of shape he's in, and how can he learn the offense? How quickly? They've rode Brown really hard over the last few weeks. He's paid off as far as stats, but I mean, is that win category? Like Joe Burrow, he's having a good year. I mean, I think statistically he's having a decent year, but when it comes to winning the football games, that's the category that I think all of these quarterbacks would definitely trade in. Multiple passing touchdowns, all the QBR stats, everything that it matters to everybody else. If you could trade those in and get a couple more wins when it comes to the win-losses, I think that's the category we got to look at as where they're coming up a little bit short. So I think we all know Cincy's season, whether it's tonight or in 4 or 5 weeks, their season is over. This is not a season for them to hang their hats on. And even on the defensive side of the ball, Erickson, I mean, he's having He's the number one in the league as far as sacks, right?
Sacks. Henderson has got 11 now. My goodness.
So when
he had 4 last week.
When you're focused on all of these individual awards and accolades and goals, but the number one focus, the team goal, is to win ball games. You gotta sacrifice a little bit of self in order for the team to rise to the top. And I think that's the one thing over and over again we talk about the Chiefs. We talk about what are they doing that's not light years, but just at a higher level and more consistently than everybody else. They're playing their brand of game for 3 quarters. They're finding ways to win in the 4th or overtime, and they're not delineating from their goals each week of what aspect of the game they're trying to get better at. They're not worried about the Bills coming up in 2 weeks. They're not worried about the Broncos. That's the opponent, but they have something internally that they want to focus on this week for them to be better and more prepared for the end of the season. And if that matches up and meshes well, then we'll score 30, 45 points. If it doesn't, then we'll get to the end of the game and we have to do whatever we have to do to win. And I just like that method, and I've seen it happen so many times over and over again for the Chiefs. And that's why it's such a hard bet to bet, for the Chiefs or against the Chiefs, because you just don't understand internally what are they working on this week and how that meshes up against the opponent.
Yeah, Baltimore too. So both these teams tonight defensively are just not where they've been historically or in the last 4 years. I mean, historically, the Ravens have always thought, you've always thought, if I just mention the name Ravens anytime in the last 20 years, you're like, oh, their defense must be great.
Ed Reed, Ray Lewis.
Not this year, though.
Suggs. That's what pops in my mind.
For sure.
Ed Reed.
Of course. They've had some unbelievable players go through there in Baltimore since Harbaugh has been involved, and even back to the Brian Billick days, obviously, as well. So it's surprising to see that. They go and trade for Tre'Davious White. I see where you're at on this. Look, they needed defensive help. I don't know how much it moves the needle. For what they gave up, which was a 2027, I think, 7th-round pick, I would have made that trade in Kansas City for a guy. Honestly, I don't know why if that was all it took. Normally, I hate when people see a guy get traded and they're like, well, they should have got him here. And we do that too often with players. And Brett Veach obviously is as good as it gets in the NFL right now as a GM. But that was one I wouldn't have minded some depth, Tre'Davious White there to be in the mix with these young corners that Kansas City has now that Jalen Watson's done for the year.
The only thing I worry about is bringing too many veterans on. Is when you bring veterans on, it does push back the maturation of the young players.
Okay.
To get good at football, you got to play football. All the reps in practice, all the visualization of what you would have done when you're on the field, you never know until you know. You never know what a guy's going to react to in the 4th quarter. It's a tight game. It's all-pro wide-out lineup, and he's running the go route and the ball's in the air. How is that young man going to rise to the occasion? Sometimes some of the most successful careers are built upon early years of failure. And we have to go through some of those growing pains with some of these young guys to see if they are, going to be something.
Does the three-peat aspect, though, I hear you. It totally makes sense, Barber, 100%. But does the fact that this is a three-peat campaign and they're making moves, whether it's D-Hop trade or otherwise, they're not going to let anything get in their way from accomplishing history and all-time bragging rights, three-peat, never been done in the Super Bowl era in the NFL?
I can appreciate the accolade. I can appreciate the goal of having a three-peat season. I can appreciate the historic value of it. But I don't know if I can sell a team on, hey, our number one priority this year is something that's never been done before in the history of football, and let's go ahead and sacrifice the next 2 or 3 years of success.
But a seventh round pick for Tre'Davious White. With all due respect to Roland Wallace, I'll be honest, I had no idea who the hell he was until 3 weeks ago, and I don't know. If you're being honest, if I asked you about him in training camp,
he made a big interception.
I know
that was a big interception.
I know.
In that moment in that game,
for sure. No, I'm saying I didn't know who he was, and he's played very well for an undrafted guy. My point is that is he capable of improving enough by the time you get to the playoffs to where he's not a vulnerability just because he wasn't somebody that most fans, if we surveyed 100 fans on August 20th or 15th up in St. Joe, hell, if I brought his name up to you, when we were up in St. Joe, if you came on set and it was very hot up there after practice, I go, hey, man, what'd you think of Roland Wallace today? You would have been like, who?
No, I would have been like CRW. That's my guy. CRW, boy. That's
now he's your guy.
I would have had more respect that you even know the bottom of the barrel. Like you got to know the roster.
Oh, I know. Everybody brings up Justin Ross and Nico Armillo 100 times.
Oh, see, there you go. All that. That was a lot of you had a lot of something in your voice right there. A lot of a little extra.
I still feel like the whole Tre'Davious White thing was the Ravens were so bad in the secondary that they just had to do anything where they're just rolling out Tre'Davious White and praying that he comes up with his 2019 form. Where I don't think the Chiefs had that level of desperation where they needed to go and get a guy that hasn't been able to play that well here for a few years now, in the league period. I think that they trust what they have in the development with the defensive coaching staff to not have to go and not necessarily take a risk, but feel that level of desperation that Baltimore had to get a corner.
Drew, to be a Cincinnati fan, you think totally different than the entire Bengals organization. Because what you said actually made a lot of sense. You actually
thank you. Thank you.
You probably need to send some memos or some emails over to one Bengal way or something and say, hey,
there might be a coaching vacancy pretty soon there. You can apply.
Yeah, sure.
Zach Taylor about to lose his job.
No, he's not, man. No,
if they end up with 8 wins, I think he might.
If they miss the playoffs, I think it's a possibility. But the fact that they made the Super Bowl, Barber, I think that they're always going to hang their hat on, well, they went to a Super Bowl with Zach Taylor, so they would have to have another losing season, I think, for it to happen, actually.
I think he's a great coach. I think that, unfortunately, T. Higgins hasn't been available the majority of the season. So I think we knew what Orlando Brown Jr. was. And we kind of send the Trojan horse over to Cincinnati, and they paid him and doubled down on him. And
he's been better.
Drew.
This is
I'm serious.
Barber, see, this has been the thing.
You know what?
This has been,
no, go ahead. He's drinking. He's dressed up like the Bengals. I mean,
he's wearing an AJ
I
Green.
I thought we was having a serious conversation about talent.
This has been the thing. Look, it's great to be optimistic as a fan. There's nothing wrong with that. We've all been that comment right there is what I've been talking about. This is why I want the Ravens to put you out of your misery tonight, because the false hope and acting like things are great. They have a great offense. Well, they don't have a great defense. That's why they stink right now.
Correct. Orlando Brown Jr. is part of the offense, though. I didn't say that he's the best left tackle in the league. I'm saying that
far from it.
He is. I don't think he's top 10, but I think that he has been very productive, much more this year when he's played than he has been previously So they're getting more for what they paid for, I think, this season than they had previously.
Then what they paid. I was gonna say, I don't. Is
Than
he
what they
over?
got from
I don't
him
think he's
last year.
outperforming the contract he got, though. That I
No, not
disagree
even
with. Yeah, I disagree. He's not outperforming the contract.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, if he was outperforming the contract, he'd be a top 5.
I don't know if
top 3 left tackle.
If he's, I don't think he's meeting the dollar amount. Quote.
When is the last time have we seen a team with only offense be
in the NFL?
Yeah,
the Chiefs lost an AFC title game when that happened.
Yeah, I don't.
Seasonally successful and go into playoffs. And I mean, no, I know with Danon's going to come on and he's an offensive guy and he thinks that like offense is like, walk on water and all that. But I mean, it's been said over and over again, and you can not like it, you can disagree with it, but I mean, statistically, defensive football wins championships.
Facts.
Like, you got to be able to stop somebody. I mean, going back to the greatest show on turf with the Rams, right? That defense, when it came time to get after the quarterback, I mean, they did what they had to do to, in the playoffs to stifle people's offense. If you cannot stop the run, get after the quarterback, and eliminate explosive plays. Those are the 3 mantras that our defense is doing at a higher level and being more consistent than anybody else in the NFL right now. And it's not always going to come out with sack totals or interception totals or turnover totals. It's just a collective ideal mindset, like a Mamba mentality throughout this defense, is that everybody's going to do their job at a high level, whatever their assignment is, to the highest of their ability. That doesn't mean you're not going to give up a play. That doesn't mean Otten is not going to run out and up and score a touchdown, or Drake London is going to fake a flare and go up the side. Yeah, I mean, there's mental errors that happens on every ball club. But if you can eliminate those things and make it...
So do you think that Baltimore, not that they have no shot, but do you think that because they struggle so much on defense that they're not a legitimate threat because they don't have that defense to win the Super Bowl?
They are susceptible to anybody doing what we did to them last year. When it's a 3-point contest and we're just throwing up threes and whoever makes the most wins and we're not relying on defense, then whoever gets hot, I mean, you just in the moment you get hot, and that it's the playoffs. You move on. Collectively, if you got 3 phases, your defense is holding everybody to under what is the 28th game in a row?
Yeah, 29th game.
29th in a row under 29 points, and a lot of those are under 20. And offensively, you're averaging mid 20s. First time we scored 30 in a whole calendar year.
Since the Bears game last year, I think is what it was, isn't it? I think that was right. The last time they blew out somebody. Defensively, it's 29 straight opponents under 28 points. That batches that 05 to 07 Ravens defense that, that was a long streak. That held for 17 seasons. That Rams team you referenced from the 99 Super Bowl, 4th best defense in football that year. So not only did they have the great offense, they have 4th best points against.
But nobody remembers them because the offense was just putting up 40 points a game. So it's easy to not think about the work that the defense is doing when the offense is lighting up the scoreboard. That's not the case this season here in Kansas City. And I think that what you see is the Leo Chennaults, you see the Shamari Connors, you see the Reeds. I mean, he's been playing phenomenal.
Should have had a pick. He almost had it. He'll tell you that. Those
are the ones that come back to get you. But Bolton and Drew Tranquil, and then all the guys. I mean, we can go all 8 guys up front, and it's just a different guy getting pressure. Different guys, not just Chris Jones. And that's what we're seeing in Cincinnati. It's Hendrickson or nothing. It's if he doesn't get to the quarterback, 100%. You're giving up first down, touchdown.
Who do you think wins tonight then? I told you who I want to win, and I think Chiefs fans should want to win, Baltimore. But who do you actually think wins? Baltimore's a 5.5, 6-point favorite tonight.
I think Baltimore wins because they've been riding heavy on King Henry. And
he's been unbelievable.
I mean, I think minimum rush of 20+ yards every game except for ours. I think I read somewhere like his one of the longest runs he's had in every game so far this season. He's had at least a 20-yard or more gain in every game except for the game against us where he had his longest run was 9 yards.
It's crazy.
So I mean, that's not just a one-off. That's a trend. It's something that offensively they're doing that other teams defensively can't. You just can't sustain it for 4 quarters, and eventually, King Henry he's leaning on you. That offensive line leaning on you, thinking about Lamar coming out the back door as far as a quarterback power or a quarterback bootleg or something, holds up somebody on the front side it makes you hesitate. You check your feet. because you got Lamar coming out, so your eyes kind of lose a little bit of discipline, and that's the only thing he needs to get his shoulders in his. I mean, he's a fast guy too, to get going vertical, and he's exploiting some guys.
Sean Barber hanging out with us for another hour or so right here on Cody and Gold. Up next, we'll get to what's trending, and then how about Dane and Hughes? Let's talk to another former Chief. Get an offensive perspective on this thing heading into the Broncos game. That's coming up next on Cody and Gold.
Cody and Gold.
I didn't sleep well. I was drunk.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5, The Fan.
I've told you guys for a while now, my car's starting to get up there in age. And so it was such a relief when I got to drive a brand new truck from my friends over at Max Motors up to training camp just a year or so ago. It made me not have to worry about the reliability of my car, and I knew I was working with the best in the Midwest. Max Motors has the best financing options available with the highest trade-in values in the Midwest as well. And you can shop online at maxmotors.com. And right now they have the largest heavy-duty sale of the year. Every new 2024 Ram 2500 in stock is 20% off MSRP. They also have new 2025 Ram 1500s up to $14,000 off MSRP. Stock number S250009. So if you're thinking about that new ride, now's a great time to head over to Max Motors, whether it's maxmotors.com or heading down to one of the locations in the Kansas City area. Max Motors, your Midwest dealer. See dealer for details. Must finance with dealer lender. Offer expires 12/12/2024.
MD Anderson Cancer Center is again ranked #1 in the nation for cancer care by U.S. News & World Report's Best Hospitals rankings. Our physicians treat more types of cancers in a day than many see in their whole career. This unmatched depth of expertise, combined with our groundbreaking discoveries, gives our patients access to the most innovative treatment options. Learn more at mdanderson.org.
Hey friends, it's noisy out there with information coming at us all day, every day. It's hard to know what to trust, and the world of wealth management is no exception. That's why UMB Private Wealth Management helps you tune out the noise and tune into what matters most. They'll create a financial plan based on your unique goals, so it's your voice that comes through loud and clear. Get financial clarity. Go to umb.com/private wealth to schedule an appointment. That's umb.com/private wealth.
Do you wake up with joint pain? Does it hurt when you do even the most routine physical activity? Have they told you it's time for knee or hip replacement surgery? Hey, it's Bob Fescoe. Stop what you're doing and listen. You deserve a life of comfort and ease with no surgery and no meds, and QC Kinetics can get you there. You can have real lasting relief from chronic joint pain without drugs, without surgery, and without downtime. Discover your options with advanced regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics. The consultation is absolutely free. This is an all-natural approach that harnesses your own body's healing properties to treat the root cause of your arthritis pain. So call QC Kinetics today, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. It's QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. Call QC Kinetics today.
You're always better with a roof from JR.
We've had more than our fair share of hail and wind this year. Are you playing Roofer Roulette? That's when you bet your roof and your home on the first random roofer to ring your doorbell. Why do that when JR and Company offers a free hail and wind report online at jrstormcheck.com? Just plug in your address and we'll pull a multi-year storm report. You'll know exactly what your roof has been put through and if you even need an inspection. If you do, no one is more thorough and works better with your insurance than locally owned, veteran-owned JR and Company. And if you need a new roof, remember, a roof from JR comes with a lifetime warranty on workmanship. Don't play Roofer Roulette with your home. Visit jrstormcheck.com and remember,
you're always better with a roof from JR.
Visit jrstormcheck.com.
Tackle your airport parking needs at Park & Go. When it comes to airport parking, Park & Go is your MVP. Don't fumble around with uncovered parking. At Park & Go, all spots are covered, so your car is always protected from the elements. Need a quick handoff to the airport? Park & Go's shuttle service is ready to take you to the terminal in no time. Covered parking, speedy shuttles, and a winning experience every time. The perfect repeat for airport parking. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family owned and operated.
I'm Brian Tedesco, CEO of Blaupunk Americas, the pioneers of the car stereo. Today, we're not just about sound systems. We are revolutionizing the e-bike scene with Blue Dot Bike. Thanks to AmericanEagle.com, our online presence now features a dynamic e-commerce website that showcases the quality and affordability of our foldable e-bikes. And our collegiate e-bikes, just perfect for the college fanatic. These e-bikes offer a new way to experience freedom on two wheels, no matter your age. When we needed a top-notch website to match our cutting-edge e-bikes, we turned to AmericanEagle.com. They made the impossible seem easy, tackling digital challenges like pros. Check out the Blue Dot Bike website to see AmericanEagle.com's amazing work in action. Need the best in website and digital marketing solutions? AmericanEagle.com is your go-to. They've been a game changer for us, and they can be for you too. Visit AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW-1. That's 877-WEB-NOW-1.
Build up to Black Friday with savings all month long at Lowe's. Get up to 50% off select major appliances, plus take an additional 10% off when you buy select major appliances. And don't wait to pick up holiday inflatables under $20. Don't wait to save, in-store or online now, because Lowe's knows deals. Valid 11/6 through 12/4. Cannot be combined with additional discounts. See Lowe's.com for details and qualifying items while supplies last.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
What's up, KC? It's Trent McDuffie. Catch the play-by-play all season long with Mitch, Danon, and Kling right here on your home of the Chiefs. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City in Odyssey Sports Station. What's trending?
What's trending here on Cody and Gold, presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. I'm laughing because if you're watching video, Sean Barber is currently in the process on video of eating some gummies. He says,
What gummies?
They are Fruit Thief Strawberry Real Fruit Whips. They're like long strings, long rope of gummy. Now, these do not have any...
none of that stuff.
You didn't get these in Missouri, did you, or no?
You know what? I got those from the McGinnis group at my office.
Oh,
a couple of my co-workers, they always provide like really good, healthy snacks.
But
for
you
us.
went out of your way to just awkwardly, like slowly eat the gummy in front of the camera.
Oh, yeah.
Drew was worried about putting the camera on. I was like, no, go ahead.
I was looking, I was like, what is Barber doing right now?
No, that's not number one on what's trending, but that was interesting. What's number one on what's trending is the injury situation for the Chiefs. We'll find out who practices today, but yesterday 9 players were on the injury report. The two biggest, Juju Smith-Schuster, Tershawn Wharton, did not practice. The rest were limited. Some of these nobody's worried about. Kareem Hunt's been limited in practice. He's just beat up, right? He's fine. Limited in quad, McCole Hardman, shoulder. Even Mahomes has to be on there, even though he's a full participant because of the ankle. Same with Nadi, Dana, and Nazeeh Johnson. That was the good news, is that you had Mike Dana back, Nazeeh Johnson back. The one today to watch will be if Juju Smith-Schuster or Turk Wharton are limited or they practice. If Juju doesn't practice today, then I think it's pretty safe to say he will not be playing on Sunday. That's first up on what's trending. Next up is Thursday Night Football, Barber. We just got done talking about that. Bengals on the road taking on the Ravens, a crucial game for that divisional race, and I think just to keep Cincinnati's season alive, where they currently, so they could get to 500 with a win tonight. They're 5.5, 6-point underdogs. Also, Keaton Mitchell, the young running back last year who had some flashes, who had an unfortunate injury, his return. He makes his return. He'll be available for Baltimore tonight. Maybe a change of pace back to work in there with Justice Hill and Derrick Henry. We'll see. Keaton Mitchell, doesn't he have was it his dad? There's some. I know you probably know more. Yeah.
At the draft or the combine, there was something that I remember doing some features with that young man one-on-one. And I think actually it's his dad or something. I was able to talk with him
play
about
in the league, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We was at the NFL. They asked the alumni to come up and we can watch the draft from a suite and everything. And I got to meet his dad, and he was telling me about his son and stuff. So that was one of the guys I was actually hoping that the Chiefs were going to get late in the draft. Phenomenal guy, explosive running back. The times he's gotten to the games, he's been so effective and so so impactful. And again, injury falls to the injury bug, which sometimes you got to be lucky rather than skilled. But this young man has a bright future in the NFL if he can just stay healthy.
Yeah, his dad, Anthony Mitchell, played for the Baltimore Ravens as well. Next up on What's Trending, some other injuries in the NFL. Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence dealing with a left shoulder injury. According to Ian Rappaport, he is continuing to get treatment and weigh options for the future. A source telling NFL Network Lawrence unlikely to play Sunday against the Vikings. We know it's been a disastrous season for Doug Peterson and the Jags, and now maybe they're going to be without the quarterback. That means it would be, what's his name, starting for the Jags, the former New England, or the former New England quarterback. No, not, I guess, sorry, that didn't clarify. The
Mac Jones.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think it is. It's probably Mac Jones, actually.
It wouldn't even matter.
No, it wouldn't.
If you can't win with Lawrence, I'm guaranteed the guy behind you can't win it. And actually, I mean, we talk about business decisions. I think there's around the league some organizations and some coaching staffs, maybe even some general managers that at a certain chance or a certain point of the season, you probably do have to start turning the page to the future and say, if I have a star, do I allow my star to get beat up at the back of the season for the second half of the season?
It's only November, though.
Knowing that there's no chance of us making the playoffs and much less going anywhere in the playoffs? Or is it smarter to start to dial back the reps of your guys that are part of the 2025-26 plan? If I'm the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm not my focus is not on winning ball games in 2024 anymore. Maybe benching Lawrence and just putting him on the shelf into next season, having him come in next season healthy is the best long-term recipe.
Yeah, I think Doug Peterson, unfortunately, it will be done after this season. I think you'll have a new regime going in there in Jacksonville at the end of the year. Last one on What's Trending, if you want to feel old today, Sean Barber. This includes me on this one because Cole Leinart, yes, the son of Matt Leinart, class of 2026, just committed to SMU. We all know Matt Leinart won the Heisman in 2004, took USC to a couple of titles back in their golden era there with Reggie Bush and everything. But the fact that Matt Leinart's son is committing to SMU, yeah, even for people in their 30s, you're starting to feel old about that one.
I mean, I'm about to turn 50 in January, and I'm thinking to myself, did I play against Matt Leinart? Was he the quarterback for the Cardinals? Maybe the end of my. So what was this?
When was your last year?
07.
Could have crossed over. I just said, what did I say? 04 was Leinart. So Leinart was in the league in 05, 06, 07. I mean, unless I don't know if you guys played, but you would have been in the league for a couple of, your tail.
Did he start off with the Cardinals? Is that what
he did?
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Did you sack Matt Leinart? Do you remember? No. I'm not even trying to insult you how many sacks you had, but do you remember players you did or did not sack?
I mean, I know Rich Gannon because when it's Raider week, I pull up this picture of me sacking Rich Gannon all the time during Raider week. Other than that one, man, no, I don't. I don't know if I actually got Tom Brady or got Peyton Manning or any of that.
That'd be really cool.
Drew Brees.
That'd be cool if you did.
I can tell you who I did. I know Doug Flutie.
Never?
Bro, you talk about chasing a pig around the stall, a little jitterbug, man. Just couldn't get him. I was so close so many times with him, and I think that was close of his career at the end when he was with the Chargers, right? Just couldn't
do it. Huh?
No, man, just couldn't get him.
Coming up at 1 o'clock, we'll talk some fantasy football. Paul Charchian of GuillotineLeagues.com. It is Cody and Gold here in the noon hour. Alex Gold, Drew Nixon with you. Cody out today, hopefully back tomorrow. Sean Barber filling in here in the noon hour with me. And it's time to talk with Danon Hughes, our regular visit. That's right. I know you. I didn't tell Barber Danon was on the show. I was worried that Sean Barber was going to bail if I told him if I said that Danon was going to call into the show. No, Danon joins us every Thursday around this time.
It's time for me to go to lunch.
He's presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discovered the benefit of blue. I'll just let you guys talk for a second. I feel like, what's going on, Danon? Sean Barber.
Hold on.
Lord.
Now I got to speak with Steven Spector and Roxanne over there about the security. The security has been lapsed. It must be bad. They must all the doors, like y'all let somebody in there without passing through the proper security, especially a defensive guy, a linebacker.
Bro,
come on, we got to be better.
I've been dropping nuggets, dog. I'm dropping wisdom. Intelligence. That's the key to success, right? I've been dropping wisdom, nuggets of influence and stuff on here. You've
been dropping poop nuggets.
There you go. Come on, man. What is he on here to talk about the wide receivers or what? He only knows a certain amount.
He's on here to trash talk a little bit. Is what it is.
Let's keep him in his lane. Hey, Dana, let's talk about the Chiefs wide receiver. Obviously, D-Hop got into the building. He's done some some really impactful things. How do you see this wide receiver group moving forward? In the season, obviously with Juju getting healthy. Obviously, Mecole got a little banged up, so him coming back. What would be your dream scenario as we go on these final 9 weeks of the season, as far as specifically the wide receiver room?
I'm not done with messing with you.
We got listeners that they write notes and they taking, you know what I'm saying? They actually waiting for us to come up with some good stuff to talk about, bro. So can you answer the question about wide receivers or not? I thought that was low-hanging fruit. I thought that was an easy question. I'm trying to give you the.
Everybody's got to. I guess I'll answer the question because everybody's got to do charity. This is my charitable endeavor for the day. So to answer the great question presented, I think we're definitely in a good position at the wide receiver position. Guys are making impact plays, not just DeAndre Hopkins, but what you're getting from Justin on the outside, what you're getting from Mecole Hardman, as you mentioned, like guys recognizing their roles, fitting in, getting in where they fit in, and being an impact. And I think the biggest thing that jumps out to me about the wide receivers is the confidence that they've garnered in any situation from Patrick Mahomes. You mentioned some great quarterbacks that you played against, guys that you sacked, guys that you didn't. We know for a fact, based on their own personal interviews, that they would go games without throwing the guys because they ran bad routes or because they weren't on the same page. And although that could speak to their greatness, it does definitely speak to the opposite of what makes Patrick Mahomes great. The fact that he doesn't have that mindset. The fact that he has the ability to go from play to play to the next play to the next play and still look to make plays down the field regardless of what mistakes you make at a wide receiver position, regardless of what age or how tenured you are or what have you. Think about Xavier Worthy. That, to me, that was a perfect throw in a position where only he can make the play, and he has to do a better job on the sideline of knowing exactly where he is on the sideline and not stepping out of bounds. But did that preclude Patrick from throwing to him again? Did that take away and was there any dynamic on the sideline that said Andy Reid and Matt Nagy were not going to throw him back in the game? No. DeAndre Hopkins, a couple of miscues at the end of the game when he was supposed to run a quicker slant on an RPO and a crucial third down conversion and two balls that almost got intercepted. Did that stop him from going back to him? Like, these are components that are, the numbers speak well for DeAndre. The numbers speak well for Patrick in a game where he didn't throw an interception and had the proficiency that he had. But I'm speaking to a whole higher level, Barbershop, with regards to being a former receiver and recognizing how cool it is when you have a quarterback that can look past your mistakes and miscues and still, for the betterment of the team, put you in a position of success. That's what we have here, and that's to me, that's the coolest component of this wide receiving crew.
Well, I know Gold got some questions for you, but you're definitely talking to a higher level of something when you talk about proclude and dynamic and proficiency.
Gold.
I mean, bro, where are we at? Who are you talking to? Are you about to take an ACT or something? What's going on?
Gold. You can obviously tell that they didn't have these kind of classes at the University of Richmond. They didn't have these type of classes like they had at the University of Iowa. We're knowing that now.
I'm glad you mentioned that line there because a little bit later this hour, we're going to play the audio of Jamar Chase talking about not studying in school, and I wanted to get Barber's perspective on. And so we'll talk. Don't worry, we'll talk about Richmond and that education at some point later this hour. But he's right. I did want to ask you about the receivers some more. I'm glad you brought up Xavier Worthy because I think he's been facing a little bit of criticism. You acknowledge that he needed to know where he was on the field better on that particular sequence with Patrick Mahomes. But I think at times people are forgetting that when Rashee Rice ended up with nearly 1,000 yards last year, a lot of that came on the back half of the season as he continued to get more comfortable in this offense. Right now, the numbers aren't great for Worthy, but 8 games in, Rashee Rice had 26 catches, 358 yards, and 3 touchdowns. 8 games in, Worthy has 19 catches, 272, and 5 touchdowns. So it's not even that far off of each other.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely a growth process. I think in the day and age that we are in, we want success yesterday. We want everything to be polished and professional and the best version of whatever we're talking about yesterday. We wanted to already be at the Hall of Fame, top 5 level, like we expected or we hope it to be down the road. And you can go throughout the league and see whatever position, pass rusher, offensive linemen, wide receivers, running backs, heck, the quarterbacks especially, that they're just not as polished. And guess what? They're not supposed to be. There's supposed to be a significant difference between college football and the pros. And I don't care if you went to Texas, you went to Alabama, Georgia, or wherever, there's a difference between the game at the college level and some of the things you can get away with, some of the attention to detail that you have to sharpen to get to the professional level. And that's what you're seeing. It's part of the maturation process. And one of the cool things about it is everything that we've seen from him is correctable. It's correctable. Like, being in a position where when Cam Taylor-Britt made that incredible interception when we played the Bengals, like a coaching point for Xavier Worthy is become a defensive back. If you can't get the ball, make sure that the defense doesn't get the ball. Be more physical in moving yourself away from the sidelines when a defensive back is trying to push you to the sideline to make it a more difficult throw and difficult catch. In that circumstance, make sure you know that you don't get squeezed to the sideline because the sideline, as you know, Barbershop, is the 12th defensive man. Every defensive back knows that if I can get the receiver to get as close to the sideline or out of bounds, that's less that I have to deal with him and somebody else I have to deal with. So you know what they're trying to accomplish, and part of growing in the NFL and not being the finished product is all these little nuances that'll make him a better receiver, just like you mentioned, Rashee Rice. He wasn't the great receiver in the first 6-7 games of the season last year, but after that, then that's when things became real, and the game started to slow down, and you started to trust your instincts more than maybe having your head full of information. And that's the transition that we expect with Xavier Worthy.
Well, the one thing we definitely know, we just go back to Monday Night Football. The Buccaneers came with a game plan of definitely pressuring the A-gaps with Vita Vea. He was a one-man wrecking crew, and I know, and we talk about how great our interior is. He's a natural disaster coming in those A-gaps. And then playing the back end to take away all the deep passes. So, whether we connected on that deep ball or not, I think the purpose of it was to show that we have the ability to attack the deep end, to keep those safeties nice and deep. And when you can run the ball interior in the interior, threaten the defensive back end, it creates this soft underbelly of a pass between 10 and 20 yards that we constantly went to over and over again, whether it was Kelsey, Watson, whoever it was wide open in those different passes. And I think that's something that is so effective going forward. People are worried about, what's happening with this offense and red zone. I say, man, listen, if you can attack a defense in all the different ways that we did on Monday night, there's going to be more than 30 points available for you no matter who you play against, because it's such a variation of ways we're attacking. So I love to see the game planning from Matt Nagy and Andy Reid continuously evolve and develop and create new plays. And listen, I know I'm a defensive guy, but I like the creativity. I like the jet sweeps and the all the fancy stuff, because it keeps the defense on its toes, and it doesn't allow you just to think you're going to take away Travis Kelce and focus on the running game and get after Patrick Mahomes. No, you got to be ready for just about anything at any point on the field, and I think that's what's make this offense really unique.
Oh yeah, definitely. I totally believe that. To me, you should take one deep shot a quarter.
Yeah,
like on an average, take one deep shot a quarter, whether you connect or not, for the sole purpose of keeping the defense honest. From a linebacker position, especially if you get a linebacker looking side to side, that's when you're able to get something over the top of their heads. And that's what you see when you have the fake jet sweeps, when you have the shifts and motions, when you have the reverses. Hey, sometimes my father used to say some things that make you laugh and make you cry. Some of the great things that happen, there are going to be times where we're going to scratch our heads and wonder what the heck we're doing. But more times than not, we're going to be smiling and high-fiving because it's working. The offense, I think, is still a work in progress. It was great to see that they were able to be proficient on the biggest stage against a team that was reeling. And now we got the same circumstance coming in this week with the Broncos. This is a divisional opponent. It's a rival. It's a team that's playing, even though they had a big drop against the Ravens, they're still playing solid football. And they do have some confidence against us. Like, whether we like it or not, whether it's justified or not, there is definitely some confidence that even though we've beaten them, 16 straight times or what have you, we lost to them last year, and it was pretty embarrassing back in October. So, we're not looking past them. We also recognize that Sean Payton, with the decisions he's made in the quarterback position and some of the play and the play calling that they've had, not that he's on the hot seat, but this would be a huge boost of confidence for their organization and for him if they're able to come in here and beat us.
Talking to Dana Hughes, former Chiefs wide receiver here on 96.5 The Fan. Of course, you'll hear him Sunday afternoon, and also pregame coverage beginning at 9 o'clock right here as the Chiefs get set to take on the Broncos. Plus, we'll ask him about players only in a second. There was a stat that stunned me when it came to Bo Nix, and that was that he has 33 plays of 20-plus yards this season. The only player with more is Lamar Jackson. I did not think Bo Nix would be right there in that category with Lamar. What have you seen as you get set for this game and studying it a little bit from the Broncos offense and how they're having any bit of success with Bo Nix and that wide receiver room?
Yeah, you know what? It's been pretty impressive to see that a team that was reeling as much as they did last year and had the question marks coming into the season are still playing solid football. I mean, they're a winning football team right now, 5-4, and Bo Nix has looked solid for a rookie quarterback to come in and play the way he's played. You know how demanding Sean Payton can be. We've heard about some of the butting of heads between he and Russell Wilson and how Russell Wilson was jettisoned out of town, and the fact that this kid has come in and garnered the confidence that he's gotten from his team and the way he's able to perform on the field. Yeah, it's not perfect. I'm sure he's got a lot of snaps he'd love to have back, but you can see something brewing in him, the way he uses his legs, his decision-making, and as you mentioned, with the yards gained and the big plays that he's had, you can tell that he's not just going to be a check-down Charlie guy. He's not trying to be out there just to be in the safe mode so that he doesn't draw the ire of Sean Payton. Heck, earlier this season, he got into a back and forth and screaming match in the face of Sean Payton. I don't know if I've ever seen that from a rookie quarterback. So that tells you about his moxie. It tells you about his expectations of himself. And it tells you something about what could be brewing down the road in regards to success on the field. But they are a force, and their defense is dominant. Their special teams is strong. This by no way is going to be a pushover game.
What do you got planned tonight before we let you go? Players only back tonight?
Players only. Because Barbershop is in the booth with you, he is not allowed to be in the booth on 2 consecutive shows in the day. That is definitely against the security policy at Odyssey, so he will not be there. I will be there, and we will have some fun. We'll get the callers involved in the hot fire, spitfire takes. Talk about the Buccaneers and what this upcoming game against the Broncos will present. We'll have some fun as always.
Danian Hughes, he joins us each and every Thursday. He's got players only tonight, 6 o'clock here on 96.5 The Fan, and of course again Sunday along with Dan Israel, Mitch Holthus, Josh Klingler on the call, Chiefs and Broncos. Thanks, man. Appreciate it, especially since you had to deal with Barber.
Hey, make sure you check your wallet before you leave.
There you go. That's Danian Hughes.
Oh, my goodness.
He was ready for you.
Bro.
He was ready for you today. And Danan's conversations with us are presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Now, I'm a guy who's, I know why Danon doesn't like to go back and forth with me, because I'm a guy who's I hold you accountable. I got my notebook. I write notes.
He does. Always has the notes.
Now, you help me out with this definition. The word consecutive. If I was to be on consecutive shows from now until
I got you.
Players only, that would mean I would be on the midday show and the drive and then
I knew what he meant, though. I knew what he meant. You knew what he meant.
We got listeners out here, bro. We got to be. you can't just throw words out there because they sound. See, in Iowa, at University of Iowa, when he was a Hawkeye, he got away with that. He could just write anything down on his essays, the papers, turn them in, and it was like, oh, well, that's Danon's paper. Let's slap a C on it and get him to the next class. He needs the credit to graduate. Let's give him give him an 85% because he needs it to go play on Saturday. No, not here, man.
Back to what we were talking about, actually, what Gold and I were talking about. I know we're going to get into that in a moment. When I called Danon, I was like, hey, Cody's not in today. Barber's sitting in. He goes, Sean Barber? I was like, yeah, Barbershop. He goes, oh, no.
Up next, I do want to give Barber the opportunity to call out each and every person at this station that owes outstanding bets. He's been texting us in the group chats. Let's just get it out there. We're going to do that. I want to ask Sean Barber as well about what Jamar Chase had to say going back to the college days. That's next.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
Kansas City is Sean Barber. There's nothing easier than to enjoy watching the Chiefs with some wings and an ice-cold Bud Light. And Buffalo Wild Wings is serving up both for every game, all season long. Join me at the Buffalo Wild Wings North Belt Highway in St. Joe on Friday, November 8th. I'll be there from 6 to 8 p.m. celebrating the back-to-back Super Bowl champ while eating some wings and drinking $5 Bud Lights. Nothing easier to enjoy than that. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
For more, go to 965thefan.com. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Winchester at Lake City Army Ammunition Plant in Independence is the largest manufacturer of small caliber ammunition for the U.S. military. They're hiring technicians starting at $26.72 an hour with a $1,000 hiring bonus. Excellent day one benefits include medical, dental, educational support, paid time off, and company retirement contributions up to 8%. Join Winchester and serve the U.S. warfighter. It's more than a job. It's a mission. Apply at winchester.com/careers.
With tens of thousands of satisfied patients across America, it's no surprise QC Kinetics gets 5-star reviews.
I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
I'm able to do the things that I wasn't able to do for a long time.
I can recommend them highly. I would recommend QC to anybody. QC Kinetics has changed my life.
I couldn't believe it. I honestly was skeptical, but the pain went from a 10 to a 0.
Real people with real lasting relief from joint pain.
QC Kinetics Regenerative Medicine is regenerating me.
It was super successful, and I recommend everyone seek out QC Kinetics as an alternative to surgery.
This non-surgical approach is definitely the future.
I tell as many people as possible. I am an ambassador. I love QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. No drugs, no surgery. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Paid for client portrayal and endorsement. Choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results, and every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
I got hurt in a car wreck. Give me one good reason why I should call DM Law.
How about 3 great reasons you should call us? 1, it's easy. You can hire us today on your phone. 2, it's fast. We can start helping you today. 3, the results.
After my wreck, DM Law got me $300,000. Mike's got this.
Call me. I've got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
This is an announcement to all United States vehicle owners who own a 2003 or newer vehicle with a manufacturer's warranty about to expire, or no warranty coverage at all. With a struggling economy and the cost of living on the rise, Endurance is now offering an affordable, low-cost vehicle coverage plan to the general public. As of today, you could be one of millions of drivers that now may qualify to have your vehicle protected under this coverage and have all future covered auto repairs paid directly to the repair shop for you. You pick your plan. You pick your deductible. You even pick the repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental coverage is included. Get your vehicle protected now and save your wallet from costly vehicle repairs. A toll-free number has been established for you to call for your free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number to call is 800-290-0239. 800-290-0239. Again, that's 800-290-0239. Coverage, deductibles, and claims may vary. For details, go to endurancewarranty.com.
Rita, Jorge, let's bring the nail gun over here.
Jose stands tall atop his sustainable flooring company.
Totally. It's renewable and moisture resistant, but we have several green options too. Or we got some beautiful reclaimed oak.
But floored by his success, he needs to hire more installers.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Let's face it. Nowadays, most companies have to rely on dozens of expensive, disconnected platforms to run their business. And even then, things can get a little, well, stressful. But with Odoo's all-in-one management software, packed with a suite of fully integrated business applications, every process is streamlined. Tasks are automated, and success is just a few clicks away. See how Odoo can take your business to the next level at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
At the UPS Store, we know being a small business owner means holiday time is still go time. Still get those orders shipped time. And still re-up on stamps and supplies time. That's why this upcoming holiday, while others close up shop, we'll be open. And happy to help you keep being unstoppable. Come into your local store today. Most locations are independently owned. Product services, pricing, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable.
I'm at the movies, asking people if they'll switch seats with me for $574.
Here, take mine.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
Too much work.
Not if you call them. They handle the switching.
Now, that's a plot twist.
Shh. Check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, it's Bob Fescoe. Be listening every day next week at 6:40 when we play Chiefs We're Thankful For. And you'll have the chance to qualify for a $500 gift card to Hy-Vee right here on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Hanging out here on a Thursday, it's Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Drew Nixon with you. Sean Barber hanging out as well, former Chiefs linebacker. He's with me till 1 o'clock, kind enough to come in studio. Thanks again to Danon Hughes as well. And his Players Only show coming up tonight, 6 o'clock here on 96.5 The Fan. Do want to pass along some news out of Chiefs practice. We were discussing during What's Trending the injury situation. As expected, Juju Smith-Schuster and Turk Warden did not, or won't, I should say, won't practice. The practice hasn't concluded yet. Will not practice for the Chiefs today. That's from Matt McMullen over at Arrowhead. So Juju, it's a Thursday, no practice. He's not playing on Sunday. So hopefully he's good to go. They did not put him on IR a couple weeks ago, so it tells me they're just hopefully getting that hamstring right for the Bills game. Turk Warden, unfortunately, that knee contusion, bad enough, it looks like, at this point to keep him out. But they do get Mike Dana back and Nazeeh Johnson once again at practice today. But that's the latest on where things are standing injury-wise for the Chiefs and the Broncos on Sunday. Here in 25 minutes, Paul Charchian, our regular conversation with him about fantasy football heading into tonight's game, who to start, who not to, and where's he at with DeAndre Hopkins? Is he a must-start on Sunday against the Broncos fantasy football-wise? That's some of the things we'll discuss with Charch in a little bit. But as I said, Sean Barber's been hanging out with me for the last, almost an hour now at this point. You came in a little early. Appreciate that. I said I would give you the floor for a few minutes to lay out the outstanding bets you have with personnel at this station, because we have a group chat, and at times you'll just randomly bring it up. And so I know one of them is our producer. I have one that was an off-air bet with you for lunch, but that one's a much more recent one. I want you to go through, starting with the most outstanding one, the longest, if that makes sense, the one that's been outstanding the longest.
I think, and I don't know the date that this bet was created or what happened, but I think this was a playoff bet from last season.
Okay, wow, last January, almost a year.
And it's owed to me by somebody called the Crown Jewel. I don't know. I don't know if he still goes by this.
I don't know. So you're talking about Dusty.
Listen. For the sake of the innocent, I will not name any names.
Okay, but
I know he goes by the name Crown Jewel,
and he hosts mornings with Fescoe.
Yes, he does host the morning show. But I'm not gonna go by his government name. But the Crown Jewel made a bet with me, and the bet, the payoff was a bottle of Blanton's.
Okay. All right.
So that's not just a 6-pack of beer. It's not a case of beer. I mean, that's.
What was the bet? Do you remember? You said was it on a Chiefs game?
I thought it was something about playoff. Oh man! Again, after so many months, you kind of lose the. Obviously, I don't forget what he owes me. I just forgot why he owes it to me. And so he's confirmed it multiple times on our group thread. Like, hey, Barbara.
Is that all I have to keep saying? I just have to confirm it, and when I can just keep it going for a while. Well, I'll confirm the bet. Doesn't mean I'm paying it. Just keep confirming it.
Whenever on our group thread, at the end of his statement, you see a little horse. That's him just acknowledging to me without acknowledging the rest of y'all. Hey, Barbara, I still owe you a Blanton's.
Okay.
For those that knows about Blanton's,
that's the logo or whatever it is.
It has a little horse on top. The plug on top is collectibles. So yeah, that nice bottle of Holiday Blanton's from about a year ago is owed to me by the Crown Jewel. There's a producer here who's a big Bengals fan. I'm not naming no names. But,
I wonder who that could be.
There was a Bengals bet that happened. The Chiefs versus Bengals. I put up a nice. A phenomenal hat. It had the goat on it. He offered actually to get a tattoo of my number on his body, and my wife kind of intervened and Barbara, having another man with your jersey, we just.
Your wife saved Drew on this.
And I appreciate it. I mean, she's a lovely lady. Maybe you should get her some flowers at some point since she saved you, Drew.
You want me to add on? You want me to add on to this gift card?
He just said a producer. Yeah.
Yeah, I said, man, no names. We saved the innocent. To protect the innocent, we name no names. But that gift card needs to be of the value of $59.59. Not just any old gift card. $59.59 to the Harvest Kitchen, which is on 119th. If you haven't been there, it's an all-vegan restaurant. I've gone there about 3 or 4 times since then, and I could have used $59.59 to help me bring that price tag down a little bit. But that's the second bet is owed by the station. So it's amazing being part of the fan and having these all these IOUs because, your dad is, growing up, what did your dad tell you? As long as someone owes you, you'll never be broke. So the last thing I got to worry about is being broke because all you jokers owe me so many bets from over the years. And last but not least, Gold has already admitted him and I got a Goldie in his crew. Goldie and Associates is what I call it. The Goldie and Associates bets was we played a game and I don't know the
it's an app, yeah. It's a fantasy app basically.
It's a fantasy app where you can pick whether the winner or loser is going to make a field goal, not.
Will the winning team have more passing yards, that kind of stuff. And so we did this, and it was like there were 7 or 8 of us, and you ended up winning, and the losers had to buy you lunch.
If you look up the app, it's called Stats Draft.
Yeah.
A friend of ours, we was out at a Holiday Distillery, and we were just going through it, and it was during one of the Chiefs away games.
Chiefs-Chargers game.
Chiefs-Chargers. Oh, you remember exactly when it was.
Of course, yeah.
Isn't that funny how the people that owes, they always remember exactly how it is? I mean, I'm owed by so many people. I just kind of like, hey, it's going to come when it's come, right? And so he owes me lunch or dinner, either lunch at Red Door Grill or dinner at Capitol Grill. Either one.
We didn't talk about Capitol Grill.
Well,
I'll tell you that.
splitting the bill between the other 3 of you who lost to me.
I don't think we said Capitol Grill.
Either way, you're going to come out your pockets about $50.
Mm-hmm.
So I can overindulge at Red Door Grill, or I can have an average. They have a great Wagyu and wine promotion right now. That's for $39. Capitol Grill, you get a glass of wine with a nice Wagyu burger for $39 and fries. You can't beat that, bro.
Okay.
So
all right,
you can
you just go there. It sounds like you go there a lot.
I mean.
Good for you.
That's my ritual when the Chiefs win on Tuesday. I have a Wagyu and wine.
Okay.
We want to keep winning, right?
That's right.
So
that's exactly right. Real quick before I play some audio from Jamar Chase, do you buy into this idea of trap games? Because it drives me crazy. The reason why it gets brought up, they're playing the Broncos on Sunday, then the Bills are on the horizon. One, it's a divisional game, so I definitely don't think the Chiefs are overlooking the Broncos. But I think it's sometimes it's a lazy way to explain why a team might have struggled against an opponent we view as worse. It's just it's hard to win. It's hard to win, and so you as a player, I was curious to get your mindset on that. I don't believe that trap game stuff really exists.
I think offensively, you got to decide who you are and what you're going to do with the season. You can either come into a season realizing, hey, we're a power running game. We don't have good receivers. Our tight ends might develop. And then you can try to choose to just stick with that in hopes that it gets you through the 17 weeks. And then somehow you're still going to be able to do those same things during the playoffs and win. Or you can decide that the NFL is the best of the best. The defensive coordinators in the NFL are very good. Whatever you choose to do to begin the season, if it's successful, the coordinators will watch enough film and come up with creative ways to stop it. And that's just the nature of the beast. That's the evolution of the NFL. There's never going to be a team that starts out winning one way and able to do that over and over and over again throughout the entire season without anybody putting up roadblocks to keep them from doing that. You got to find a different way to beat us. You're not going to use Kelsey and give him 15 targets and 2 touchdowns. You're not going to be able to use D-Hop. You're not going to be able to use it's going to be something they take away and make you beat them a different way. So I say that to say that when you map out your season and you want to challenge your guys to do the best, to be the best. To me, if a defense has porous corners, touchy, they have safeties that can't guard the tight end. Well, that's not the game for me to work on my tight end. Like I want to wait against the Baltimore game when they got Hamilton, right? They got Smith. Yep. They got guys that they're gonna punch your tight end a little bit, beat them up down the field. That's the time to work on your tight end game because when it comes to the playoffs, that's the kind of coverage you're going to receive. And so, you got to look at the schedule and say, all right, I want to put my best against their best. I want to work on some things as the season go along. And if we win the game, we win it. But we're trying to always put ourselves in position to, yes, be the number 1 seed and have the bye. But what you really want to look at is your own internal growth as a team. And on defense, you're doing just the same thing on the opposite way. You want to be able to stop the run. affect the passing game, whether it's having corners play really sticky man coverage against top-end receivers, or being really, disguises on the back and being able to bring zone pressures, tricking offensive coordinators, tricking and making the quarterback hesitate. There's so many different. I mean, people want to act like it's a game of chess, and it's not checkers and not chess. It's a whole. I mean, it's so many different dimensions to this thing, and I think because the Chiefs keep winning, everybody, like you're saying, they want to create this narrative where the Chiefs have the Bills circled. Like, that game matters so much more than the Denver Broncos. We know Andy Reid puts a premium on divisional games. So you can't ever go into a divisional game thinking that's a trap game when you're talking about the Chiefs.
I agree.
So, I mean, I just think you have to look at the organization. You got to look at the team, how they're made up. And no, there's for where this team is trying to go to, I mean, unfortunately, there is no
they're too well coached and run in the process that they have for me to see that with this team in particular too. You know, we were talking earlier. Maybe in college it happens because you got a 19-year-old kid that his girlfriend broke up with him the night before the game and all that. But that's not even a trap game. That's just that's just life.
Sometimes life be life.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Jamar Chase. I'm glad Dane and Hughes and you were going back and forth about the Iowa education and Richmond education, because Jamar Chase was talking about studying the playbook. Here's the sequence. He was asked by a member of the media, basically, like, how do you prepare on a short week? Listen to his answer.
Short week, Jamar, the preparation obviously gets crunched down by a lot. Does it feel to you like cramming for a test back in school? Like, what's a short week?
I didn't study in school. But it's a lot, but you just gotta stay focused, you know what I'm saying? You just gotta really lock in right now. So I mean, we get a little break time before we start Friday, you know what I'm saying? Friday's practice. So we just gotta stay locked in when we on the field and just pay attention. But when we get the break time, then we can do whatever.
Short week for them. Baltimore, Cincinnati tonight, Thursday Night Football. I'll ask you, to get your perspective. I said, look, I'm not surprised by that answer. If you're that, he knew it was going to be a top 5 pick in the draft. So if you're in that spot, you got that career ahead of you. That's your career. What do you make of that comment, though? Did you study at Richmond, Sean Barber? Did you know you were going to the NFL?
No, man. I studied, man. I'm a student of the game. It wasn't about the opponent. It wasn't about what was coming next. It wasn't about the NFL, the combine. I was taught to always try your best, man. Always put something on the field every day as part of your resume in life, beyond the football field, beyond the classroom, whatever it is that you care about. Put your mark on it, and if it's worth doing, it's worth doing, and doing it to the best of your abilities. So I've kind of carried that through everything I've done in life. So I understand what he was saying, because when you go to LSU, if you go back to that roster, they were a semi-pro team.
Loaded.
Clyde Hilaire was the running back, right? They had Jefferson, him,
Burrow.
Terrence
Marshall, Burrow.
Stacked.
3 linemen went to the NFL.
It's the reason why they won the national title.
Patrick Queen was there.
Again, so yes, they probably didn't do much studying the opponent, because they knew if they executed the way they could, there was no answers on the other squad. Like, there's no defense to stop that. That's an all Madden team.
How about going to class?
I took that as he just meant he didn't study in school, as in he wasn't. I don't think he was studying.
I ain't putting no words in nobody's mouth.
You think he's talking about studying the playbook? I'm
talking about football. He's in a locker room. Y'all talking about studying film.
He's the one that said he didn't study in college.
Wait, I think he was talking about film.
Okay.
I'm gonna protect my homie.
Okay.
I'm gonna protect.
But I have no problem with it, Barbara, because he knows that. Like Shedeur Sanders in Colorado, there was audio that came out this week. You saw it. You know what I'm talking about. Where they were talking about registering for classes in the spring. He's like, no. Yeah. Which again, he's not alone on that. He knows that once the season's over, that last bowl game, he's going to Arizona, some rehab, train facility, get ready for the combine.
Yes.
This happened. That's not unique, but that's no different than what this is. I view it as some players know, not if they're, and this is no disrespect, but if you're at a smaller school, or in your situation that you brought up, you obviously had to take care of your academics too, because you don't know what the next path is going to look like. Jamar Chase, he knew he was a top 10 pick.
I mean, again, like education is really high on my priority list. Both my parents were school teachers and stuff, so I don't think that I would go into a classroom or any kind of learning environment with the disrespect of, like, I'm already out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Like teach or not teach. I'm not turning in any more work because, like, in my next 2-3 months, I'm going to the pros. Because that's, to me, disrespectful of the work that person put in to prepare for that day's class. So, again, I hold education and teachers in a very sacred place in my heart. So, that's just not how I treat people. That's not how, when I come on your show, right, I don't come unprepared. I come
He's got a whole notebook.
I come with my notebook of stats. Yes, I will not be doing the drive. So I will not be doing consecutive shows to end up on Players Only tonight with Danon. So his definition of consecutive in mine might be slightly different. And maybe that Iowa education, maybe if he did finish his classes at school, he would understand the difference in the definition.
Is not as good as a Richmond education.
Right? That means consecutive.
Mm-hmm.
You can't miss something and be consecutive. But yeah.
Let's get to the random question of the day.
Random question.
All right, Drew, we'll leave this one up to you today. Analyst of the text line, 913-586-7965. What do you got for us?
That's right. So we're getting into the time of year where it's getting colder and everything. And I was thinking about this last night for the out of left field question. Did not end up asking it on after hours.
Okay.
But what is your go-to fall drink? Food? It's getting colder. Is it soup? Is it a good potato soup? Is it a coffee? Anything from Starbucks? Like, what is your go-to meal, if you will? I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely not a daily thing or anything, but definitely this time of the year, like, it's chili season, man. Get some chili, whether it's homemade or at a restaurant. Chili season. This is like, you're not having chili, at least I'm not in August, when it's 95 degrees, but we're starting to get to that point. Yeah, I could go for a bowl of chili tonight. Absolutely.
First of all, like, I'm a fan of going to actually chili cook-offs.
Ooh,
okay. Every January.
Are you a judge in these?
Well, I attend Church of the Harvest out in Olathe, and we have a January men's kickoff chili cook-off every year. I have never won yet. I do bring in chili from restaurants. So Red Door Grill has always brung. There's a guy at my church, Pastor Lester. He wins it every year. He puts.
This must be some good stuff.
Multiple types of meat. It's spicy. It's some sweet heat. The cornbread he put, like it's levels of goodness in his chili, and the fact that there are different restaurants each year I bring in, and I still can't win. I've started to pull my name out because I'm tired of losing to him. So I just I acknowledge that my chili is coming from a restaurant, so it's not, you can't vote on me even though
the funny story I have with that along those same lines. When I was doing radio in Topeka, my co-host at the time, we had a work chili cook-off, like a contest, and he brought in a bowl. They didn't know it at the time, a bowl from Wendy's. And Wendy's chili is underrated for a fast food place. You know what? It's not bad at all.
I ain't going to lie.
He brought in a bowl of it, and he won.
Oh, my goodness.
He told us months later. But it's from Wendy's.
Oh, months?
Yeah.
See, I can't ride.
It won.
To me, a joke is, like, I can't go to sleep. So if I tell you something and it's just a joke, then that means before I go to sleep at night, I got to call you and tell you, hey, man, like, just so you know.
Yeah.
Da-da-da. If I wake up the next day and tell you it's a lie. That's just a flat out lie. You just got character issues. I mean, your integrity is gone. So if you told me something untruth, if there's some untruth that you told me, you got 24 hours. You got until midnight that day to tell me the truth, or in my book, you're going down this lie.
What's your answer? I'll read some text in a second too.
So I feel like potatoes, a nice warm potato
soup.
soup.
I like potatoes, but I've never been a big potato soup guy.
Baked potato soup is bomb.
What?
I know what you're talking about. It's not bad. Okay.
Get some bread.
Someone
as well with it.
Someone says Bailey's and coffee's their go-to.
I've never been.
Someone says Perupski's. Yeah, so Perupski's is a restaurant or deli, whatever you want to call it. I think it's still open in Topeka. Known for their chili. I mean, they only serve it at a certain time of the year. It is incredible stuff. I think they're still open. It's down in a neighborhood there in Topeka called Perupski's. That's a good spot. Someone says, help me with this debate. Is chili a soup? Oh boy.
Oh Lord.
No, I don't think it is. I don't think it is on the surface without going too deep into that.
No.
What is if you use a spoon, it's a soup. Is that what? I mean, what is the?
What if you use a spoon? It's a soup.
Is that
chili is more of a stew?
Yes.
Chili is more of a stew than a soup. Depends how you prepare it too.
Whether it's meats, beans. Oh, does your chili always has beans in it?
Mine usually does.
Beans? Drew?
Yeah.
Here's what the Yahoo had an article on this. Is
Oh,
chili
boy.
a super stew? They said chili is considered a separate type of dish usually. Many different varieties falling under its umbrella. But technically, that's what they say, it's a stew. No matter what ingredients you include, you'll never see a recipe asking you to puree a chili like you often do with soup. There you go. Hope that settled it.
I shouldn't have asked this question because now I'm hungry.
In about an hour and 5
Fire up
minutes,
the crock
you'll be able to
pot?
go
Come on
and
now.
go and get whatever you want.
I don't want
Someone said Perupski's close. That's a bummer.
Yeah, I don't want to. I'm not going to ride Gold's coattail with the chili. So I'll come out at the end of the day. Something that really speaks fall to me would be like a latte. So like a pumpkin spice latte, and that's just for this period between October.
You're a pumpkin spice latte.
Yeah, but between Halloween and Thanksgiving, like I get all the.
Isn't pumpkin season over already? It's past Halloween.
No, the time between Halloween and Thanksgiving. Between.
Mm-hmm. So these next 3 weeks right here.
That's my pumpkin spice. moment.
Okay.
All right.
So I don't do it before. I'm not doing it before Halloween.
Isn't it? So when do you transition like more peppermint stuff?
After
Thanksgiving. Okay.
I mean, I'm very and I don't understand the debate about putting up lights, any of that stuff. Like,
When do you put? How early do you put your lights up?
after Thanksgiving, like it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like how
I
am I
agree.
putting up Christmas lights before Thanksgiving? Like
I agree.
that's
I hear
like
you.
that's like ignoring the fact that Thanksgiving's on the way. Like, I
Thanksgiving's
love
always
Thanksgiving.
it's always skipped over too much. Yeah.
I'm a thankful person. I mean, maybe it's because I have an attitude of gratitude. You like
Sean
that?
Barber.
Put that on a T-shirt.
Sean Barber.
Thanksgiving.
Appreciate you coming in, man,
It's
on
a holiday.
late notice. Really appreciate it. Good to have you, and that was fun. Sean Barber, good stuff. Oh, so Friday night, right? You're going to be up in St. Joe, is that right?
I mean, people hear the commercials. They know. Come
Well,
have
it's
some
on
wings.
the station. Promote it, man.
Come have some wings and an ice cold Bud Light at the BW3s out there in St. Joe. But if you actually, one of the watch parties, I definitely want to promote a watch party. I mentioned I go to Church of the Harvest. We're having a watch party on November 17th. The Bills game.
Okay.
Out at Church of the
Nice.
Harvest out in Olathe.
There you go.
155th and Black Bob.
Sean Barber, former Chiefs linebacker. Listen to his show Friday night. Fan football show up in St. Joe at B-Dubs. Up next, fantasy football talk with Paul Charchin of GuillotineLeagues.com. Who to start? And I want to also give you an update on where the Royals could have their games next season. Not on the radio. You know where that's at, right here on 96.5 The Fan. But what about on television? We'll try to fill you in on that next.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
Here's another great reason to use the United States Postal Service this season. When sending a package, why venture outside? Ship with USPS for a true holiday ride. Want to stay cozy and warm? There's no need to roam. With free package pickup and labels printed from home. We have over 600,000 employees always in motion. And before you know it, your gift has delivered emotion. Spread the holiday joy this season with USPS's enhanced network. Learn more at USPS.com/holiday ride.
Are you playing roofer roulette? That's when you bet your roof and your home on the first random roofer to ring your doorbell. Why do that when JR and Company offers a free hail and wind report online at jrstormcheck.com?
Our favorite reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Free service for life with no fine print. That's right. When you buy your engagement ring or any piece of jewelry at Diamonds Direct, you will never have to pay a dime in the future for sizing, cleaning, or routine maintenance. At Diamonds Direct, there's no gotcha clause, no fine print, no looking for ways to void the warranty. Diamonds Direct, the jeweler you can trust with a no questions asked 100% free lifetime warranty with no strings attached. Come see us to learn more.
Reason number 52 to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler. Only Diamonds Direct gives you a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. Diamonds Direct will give you 110% of your original purchase price toward the new stone. That's 10% more than you paid the first time. Guaranteed appreciation. Who else does this? There's no fine print and no minimum purchase requirement. It's 10% more, period. Buy with confidence. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
You hear that? That's the sound of another year counting down. Another year missing your revenue goal. Another year wondering why your marketing isn't more effective. Another year worried about next year. The clock is ticking, but you still have time. Time to contact the experts at Scale Marketing. Scale Marketing is a full-service marketing agency who is expert in lead generation and revenue growth. How expert? Our clients see an average of 20% growth in the first year alone, with sustained growth from there. It's all part of our process. From your traditional marketing to social media to paid search, we'll take a forensic approach, digging deep to find the root problems in your marketing strategy. Then we'll fix them fast. At Scale Marketing, we can't stop the clock, but we can change your company's future. Find out how you can make your marketing budget work harder and drive more revenue. Contact us at scalemarketing.com. That's scalemarketing.com.
Build up to Black Friday with savings all month long at Lowe's. Get up to 50% off select major appliances, plus take an additional 10% off when you buy select major appliances. And don't wait to pick up holiday inflatables under $20. Don't wait to save, in-store or online now, because Lowe's knows deals. Valid 11/6 through 12/4. Cannot be combined with additional discounts. See Lowe's.com for details and qualifying items while supplies last.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
You can listen to the play-by-play of the Chiefs and Broncos game with Mitch, Danon, and Kling right here on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFMZ FM and AM HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold with you. Drew Nixon, as always, producing the show. He's filling in a little bit for Cody throughout the day as well. And it's time to talk some fantasy football with Paul Charchian of GuillotineLeagues.com, presented by Twin Peaks, Eats, Drinks, Scenic Views. All right, Charch, I want to get right into it with Christian McCaffrey. And those owners, including myself, been waiting a long time for maybe this weekend. What are you kind of hearing? What's the feel on how to approach this thing as it sits on a Thursday?
I wish I had some non-public information about this. We have no idea where McCaffrey really is in his recovery. It's, clearly he's close, or they wouldn't have activated him. But is he at 100% or 90 or 80? And we don't know what kind of workload he's going to get in his first game back. Is it 5 carries or is it 20 carries? It's just there's so many variables here. It would only make sense that McCaffrey's on a snap count, particularly since Jordan Mason has been damn good, averaging 5.1 yards per carry. I mean, you can't ask for a lot better productivity than what Jordan Mason has given you. Pretty positive matchup against Tampa. They're ranked 28th in yards per carry. The tricky part is, Drew, Alex, you've been waiting 10 weeks to put Christian McCaffrey in your lineup, right? You finally activated him from IR. And you're like, oh, thank God. Do you have the steely nerves to leave him on your bench in his first game back? I don't think anybody's going to do it. But if rationally, it would make sense for them to really ease him into the game. But based on what we know right now, which is basically nothing, it's a high-risk play for Christian McCaffrey.
At this point of the season, with Dak Prescott going on IR, the Cowboys players are just off limits, right, Charch?
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. So now if CeeDee Lamb were at full health, that would be one thing. but he's got an AC joint injury. And as we saw with Jordan Mason, with his AC joint injury, which he aggravated twice, it's easy to re-injure that. So Cooper Rush is your new quarterback. He's got all the passing dynamics of Christian Ponder. When he had to start 2 years ago, he had to play 5 games for the Cowboys 2 years ago. He averaged 191 passing yards, 1 touchdown. And in those games, he actually targeted Lamb, and Lamb was an okay fantasy producer on those games. But back 2 years ago, Dallas had Zeke and Pollard that were running crazy that year, you'll remember. And the running game had all of this balance that helped the passing game. This year, the running game is the worst in the league for Dallas. So I just don't think there's any balance here. Cooper Rush isn't good, and I think you're benching all your Cowboys, even CeeDee Lamb if he's able to go in this one.
We're talking to Paul Charchian of Guillotine Leagues and FantasyLife.com each and every Thursday, getting you set for fantasy football. Out in Carolina, Jonathan Brooks is going to make his debut for the Panthers. He's been obviously on the PUP list for the entire season. This one's interesting for me, too, as well, because I don't normally talk about a personal fantasy football league because usually people don't care. But there was a trade that went down this morning that I'll be honest, I'm a little upset about in our league. It's a keeper league. The third best team in the league made a trade with the worst team in the league, okay? The best, the third best team is getting Jahmyr Gibbs. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's a big get.
Yeah. And the team that is in dead last that maybe you would say, oh, they're just trying to get keepers is getting Rashee Rice and Jonathan Brooks. And I about lost it this morning in our group chat.
Yeah. Well, okay. Rashee Rice is good. I mean, I can understand the thinking. Rashee Rice is done for this year. So you'll have a good receiver next year.
And the first 6 next year, possibly.
Well, it's not a great trade. I don't think it's as bad as you think it is, but it's certainly going to help that third-place team. And God bless him for being active, making his team better, finding a deal that some team that's tanking would be willing to take. And I don't know if you saw this. This is just new news from this morning. Chuba Hubbard just got a 4-year, $33 million extension this morning.
Oh,
4 years.
Oh, well, that ticks me off even more. Then that means Jonathan Brooks isn't even.
Right. Jonathan Brooks is not even the lock starter going forward anymore. And Hubbard's been great. Hubbard has been great. Now, so get this, by the way. So Hubbard is now the 6th highest paid runner, 1 spot ahead of his backup, Miles Sanders, who's the 7th highest paid runner.
Oh, my goodness.
So the team's doling out. They're sitting on $80 million of running back contracts right now, which is absurd. Anyway, Hubbard's been awesome, and I don't see – he's 5th in rushing yards. He's 5th in yards per carry. He's 7th in rushing yards over expectation. And Brooks, all of that means that Brooks can come back very, very slowly. They don't need him on the field, and don't expect him to be a major part of this offense all season, and especially not this weekend in Germany.
Thursday Night Football, my Bengals, Charge taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Isaiah Likely is out for this one. Do you risk starting Mark Andrews, who's been a little bit up and down this season?
Yeah, this question gets a lot more interesting with Isaiah Likely out because normally Mark Andrews is totally touchdown dependent because of his low volume. When he scores, Mark Andrews averages tight end 8. When he doesn't score, he averages tight end 31. Disaster. But with Likely out, that frees up 20 routes and 4 targets per game for Mark Andrews. So it feels a lot more plausible. The Bengals have been a bad tight end defense. They've given up 5 tight end touchdowns in the past 5 games, including when these teams met in Week 5, 3 tight end touchdowns to the Ravens in that game. So, yeah, let's go with Mark Andrews in this one. He hasn't been a safe play all year. This feels like the safest start yet.
I know I'm going to ask you about DeAndre Hopkins here in a little bit, but another receiver that got traded, of course, was Deontay Johnson from Carolina over to Baltimore. Yeah. Nothing really right out of the gate. Zay Flowers had the huge game for Baltimore against Denver. Where are you at on Deontay Johnson right now in terms of being able to start him?
Yeah, lukewarm tonight. The good news is we've seen a big uptick in playing time and productivity for other wide receivers in their second game with their new team, like DeAndre Hopkins, who went nuts in his second game for Kansas City. Amari Cooper doubled his snaps and routes in his second game in Buffalo. And Cincinnati's just a middle-of-the-pack secondary. Jacoby Myers hit him for 100 yards last week. But the problem for Deontay Johnson is Derrick Henry has got massive volume. He leads the NFL in rushing attempts. Zay Flowers is way better than Johnson, and obviously he knows the offense. Rashad Bateman, Nelson Aguilar didn't die after the trade. They still need to get the ball once in a while, and Lamar Jackson's never proven to be able to feed two wide receivers in any kind of predictable fashion. So we're up on Deontay Johnson.
On the Bengals side of things, Chase Brown has been a guy that's been a reliable player for fantasy owners. Cody actually is one of them. This is a tough matchup, though, for Chase Brown going up against this Ravens defense who has been horrendous against the pass, but against the run, a solid team. Is Chase Brown a play today or no?
Yeah, I mean, Brown was in a timeshare with Zach Moss, and he was starting to pull away from that timeshare in the past few weeks, and now Moss is hurt and may not play again this year. And then last week as the solo back, Brown got 100% of the snaps. He rolled up 157 yards in that game and had 32 touches. Now, they brought in Khalil Herbert, and he's going to, mix in a little bit of work. But Zach Taylor, the Bengals head coach, has always been a workhorse guy. Joe Mixon, averaging 19 touches per game over the last 3 years. He's been a top 5 guy in attempts 2 of the last 3 years, and I think that probably continues here. But Drew, you hit on the big talking point though is the Ravens' run defense is just great. They're giving up 58 yards per game. That's it on the ground. This is a really good run defense and a really bad pass defense. Get this, no back this year against Baltimore has topped 52 yards.
Dang,
that's nothing.
Yeah, that's not going to get it done fantasy football wise. As we're talking to Paul Charchian of Guillotine Leagues and FantasyLife.com. I mentioned DeAndre Hopkins. He was unbelievable in game 2, and yet I still think there's more to come in terms of the routes that they're going to allow him to run going forward. Is he kind of in a must-start spot now?
Well, okay. Last week, and I know many of you listen to myself and Art on the pregame show.
Yeah.
We extolled the virtues of DeAndre Hopkins because everything was coming together. You had Juju out. That meant that he could slip into the slot and get some extra looks. You're going up against Tampa with this injury-ravaged secondary. No Jamel Dean. We knew they were going to throw second, third string cornerbacks on there. So we loved that matchup last week. This is the opposite of that. This is a very good pass defense led by Patrick Surtain. And Surtain is awesome, obviously. He's giving up 1.5 catches per game in his coverage. And if you're Surtain, they will use him when there's one alpha receiver for the opponent. They will have Surtain shadow a lot of that game. And I think that's what's going to happen here. Surtain's physical enough to hang with Hopkins, and he's their best guy. And now, I don't know if is Juju going to go. I know he didn't practice yesterday. Do we have any hope? Do we have any hope that he's going to play in this game?
I don't think so, unless he's suddenly practicing today. I would be pretty surprised to see him out there on Sunday at this point.
Yeah, same. And that might if Juju doesn't go, that helps Hopkins because he could at that point roll into the slot, and that gives him a better matchup because that'll shake him off of Surtain a little bit. So, yeah, I just feel like this is such a harder matchup. I've got him at wide receiver 30 this week, which means it's like a flex level play.
Last one for you. Drew and I were stunned to see the stat that Bo Nix is the second best quarterback in the NFL, at least at getting big plays, only behind Lamar Jackson. We're talking about 20-plus yard plays this season. Fantasy football-wise, where does he fit in with some of the weapons there?
Well, okay, first, and I hate to say it, Sean Payton's handling of Bo Nix has been brilliant. Ugh. They started the season with Bo Nix having him, it was all just short timing dump off stuff. His average pass in the first month of the season for Bo Nix was 4.5 yards. And we were all worried about that because that's what he did in college. We're all like, this is going to be a disaster. The last month, his average pass is now up to 7.5 yards. That's NFL average. And he's looked legitimately so much better. Finding receivers downfield, Cortland Sutton hooking up downfield, and he's generating big plays with his legs. And he's turned into a top 10 fantasy asset over the last month. Quarterback, Bo Nix, it just did not. Didn't see it all coming together this fast. God bless him for being there now. Not a great matchup. I don't love the matchup this week in particular because, if I'm your team, it's Trent McDuffie on Cortland Sutton, and I'm going to make Lil Jordan Humphrey beat me because, I don't have to tell you guys, Trent McDuffie's great. And I want to take Cortland Sutton out of this offense and, make Adam Troutman and the rest of the guys of his ilk go win. And so I don't love this matchup for Bo Nix, honestly.
Paul Charchian, GuillotineLeagues.com, FantasyLife.com. Appreciate it, man. And I'm sure people in my fantasy football league listening, hearing me ask you about that trade, are going to be thrilled to hear that they think I'm in the wrong for being upset. I still, you told me that the contract news with Hubbard made me feel even worse, though. The fact that to me makes it a way worse trade.
Right, because the thinking on Brooks was you've got next year's starting running back for the Panthers. Now you've got a timeshare running back for the Panthers.
Yep, there you go. Thank you, Charge.
Thanks, Charge.
Bye, guys.
Paul Charchian with us here on Cody and Gold. He's presented by Twin Peaks Eats, Drink, Scenic Views. Yeah, and since that, during that, the trade has been vetoed, too, at the end they were discussing there.
Good news there.
Vetoed by the commissioner. It's not happening anymore. And that, to me, was one of the worst trades I've seen in a while in fantasy football. I asked Sean Barber about it.
Even worse than me giving you a Christian McCaffrey?
That's
season?
Guillotine League. That's different. That's a Guillotine League trade. That's a little bit different. Different format.
Yep.
You're playing for 1 year. You also have the ability to still improve your roster when a team gets eliminated. That's a different setup than a normal fantasy football league or whatever. And then, did I even mention the Charge in that interview? I don't think I did when I was talking to him about the whole family connection either. The fact that the two people trading with each other are both brothers.
I don't know if you mentioned
I don't think I did the Charge. Connection. At first, Charge said, not a great trade, but he didn't care. But then the Hubbard news happened. Anyway, that's a little update on some fantasy football for you. I want to give you an update, though, on the Royals end. And we know that the Diamond Sports Group been dealing with bankruptcy and where are the Royals going to be on television. We know the radio right here on 96.5 The Fan. You'll hear the broadcast throughout the season as you have been. But the Royals and Diamond Sports Group have been trying to figure out what the options are because the Royals could go back to Diamond Sports Group, which was operating Bally's. We know it's not called Bally Sports anymore. It's now FanDuel Sports Network Midwest or FanDuel Sports Network KC would be the name, as the FanDuel has the rights to the name now. And so the games could end up there. They could obviously sell to rights to a different MLB, could take it in-house. Pete Rathoff over at the KC Star just tweeted out a little while ago that the Royals and Diamond Sports Group are in talks now, and it wouldn't surprise him to see a similar deal for KC to what just happened in St. Louis with the Cardinals. He mentions with sports gambling coming to Missouri, it would get FanDuel's name in front of fans during baseball season. Diamond Sports Group and the Cardinals just announced a new multi-year linear and digital rights agreement for the recently renamed FanDuel Sports Network that will continue broadcasting all games with the exception of exclusive televised games nationally. So maybe that's the exact same setup the Royals will have. The Royals haven't announced anything yet, haven't come to terms with it, but just that was from the KC Star on that. Hey, if the Cardinals are doing this, perhaps that's something that the Royals would look at, and the games could end up being on FanDuel Sports Network. I get the sports gambling tie-in for FanDuel, but does the deal make sense for the Royals to reach the most people and for it to just be way more accessible than what it was? We've had the complaints. We all hear them. I still think, though, it's very unlikely that ultimately it doesn't result in you still having to pay to reach it. But the problem that a lot of people had was you couldn't get Bally on YouTube TV, which so many people have now. Or that was the problem. The separate app for, what was it, $20 a month or whatever, that was one thing. But give them the option for an add-on on YouTube TV or something. I think that was the biggest concern because they're not going back. There's a handful of teams that are doing. I think the Diamondbacks were one where you're just going to over the air be able to watch the games. That's just not the reality of where things are trending. The NFL's not even trending in that direction. Yeah, well, majority of your noon games, right, are going to be on over the air. Chiefs Broncos, that's on CBS, I think, or whatever. Okay, that's over the air. But Black Friday game is on Amazon Prime. Thursday night games, Amazon Prime. The 1 or 2 playoff games are either on Peacock or ESPN Plus.
Game on Netflix.
There was the ESPN Plus Monday Night Football game with the Chargers and Cardinals a couple weeks ago. Yeah, Drew, you mentioned the Netflix Christmas Day games. That's where this is all trending. So, if you're just going to be against any package that requires you to spend a monthly fee, you're probably not going to be happy. Like, my issue always had been, hey, I should be able to just get it on my YouTube TV, and I can pay an add-on fee or put in part of my sports package or whatever it may be. That's my issue with it. But the idea of, like, hey, I have to pay more to watch the Royals, like, one way or the other, you're going to. It was the accessibility problem. But if your complaint is just that you want to flip on the bunny ears and watch the game, this isn't 1999 anymore.
It was being, like, I think your point exactly about the accessibility of it's having to go off of YouTube TV to go to a different place to watch the game. That's where it gets frustrating. Where, yeah, if you just pop it in as an add-on, then you don't have a problem going from the Royals game to, I don't know, a Chiefs preseason game if you really wanted to watch it. Or I don't know if you'd be able to split box baseball and football, but you normally can do that. So I think that should be the thing where if you can have it with your regular setup for YouTube TV or whatever the case is, because I have YouTube TV as well, it makes it more accessible and easier to use instead of having to switch different apps and go to, it makes it more complicated.
The separate app thing. Look, if they want to offer their own separate app, totally get it. But give me the ability, as someone just texted in, they said they pay for DirecTV. They feel there should be a channel on that package. Yeah, I mean, that's whether it's DirecTV or YouTube TV, et cetera, find a way to where even if I have to pay an extra $9.99 a month to have it on my YouTube TV or whatever,
didn't it used to be
let me watch it. Going back to like the Fox, I believe when it was Fox Sports
Fox affiliate,
or whatever,
yeah.
So we'll see. But all the FanDuel networks have already switched to like they've already switched the naming and everything over. You probably have seen that, especially during NBA for if you watch the Thunder games or whatever. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Someone from the text line 913-586-7965 says, Why could the Royals win for their own network like the Yes Network, 545 different owners like, et cetera, and do it right? Well, let's just be real. The Yes Network, that RSTN Day thing, like that's right. Yankees can do it because of the New York Yankees and the financial reach. It's the New York media market versus the Kansas City media market. I mean, deep down, I would rather Major League Baseball, honestly, just take in all the production of it if you want to know the truth. I'd rather Major League Baseball operate the networks in the blackouts and operate the regional networks, but have it under one umbrella. Get rid of the blackouts. Let me use MLB TV if you're a T-Mobile customer, you get it for free, but otherwise you're paying for MLB.TV. I can get it on my Fire Stick TV at home or whatever it may be, or Apple TV, whatever you're using. Let me have that without blackouts. Yeah, that's like my dream scenario. Or somehow in the future it's on Amazon and it goes in your Amazon Prime membership. You're already paying either the monthly or you're paying the $100 and something a year, and either the rate goes up or it's included in my membership. But even Apple TV, when MLS games are on Apple TV, that's an additional cost.
That would be the ultimate win, is if it were on Amazon Prime and they don't switch your subscription. Somebody said, I'm still not paying $20 a month for Royals games, charge $5, and I'd pay it. I don't pay for ESPN Plus, and I'm a big KU fan. To each their own. I think it makes it easier where if you already have the service, then it makes it, I guess, in terms of accessibility, in terms of ease, and it does make it a lot easier if you've already got Amazon Prime and all the games are on Amazon Prime. It makes it more convenient, obviously, than having to go to a whole new app, and especially if you have to pay $20 extra a month. But I don't know how much an add-on would be, $10 a month.
Yeah, I just hope they find out. Can they expand their reach if they're going to re-up with Diamond Sports Group and what is now going to be called the FanDuel Sports Network KC or whatever? Can they find a way to just get it on these other services? Because I think there is a large chunk of Royals fans that just, and understandably so, I'm not criticizing, but just like don't want to pay anything extra. Mm-hmm. Who does, right? And then there's some that are willing to pay, I don't even know the dollar amount, right? $9.99, $7.99, whatever. But they want to have the ability to access it on their service they already have. That's where I'm at. Like, I recognize I'm probably going to have to pay extra to watch Royals games, but let me have it through my service. YouTube TV is, for example, what I use. That's my biggest issue. And not only have it on the Bally Sport app or now whatever it's actually going to be. That'll be interesting to follow. We'll keep an eye on this. Just a little bit of news because the Cardinals re-up with Diamond Sports Group. You're laughing about something on the text line. What was it?
Somebody said from the 913, are those headphones taped? Do we need to donate to the show fund?
What's up? Oh, yeah. Do you have duct tape on your headphones over there?
My headphones.
I can't see because you're across. For those that don't know, we're in the studio. Drew's in the producer room across in the glass. The reflection, sometimes you can't see.
My headphones have been like this for about a month now.
I got to get you some new headphones.
A month and a half, where they still work. The thread, I thought it was one of those things where it's on your clothes.
We can't be having you out. You're on camera too. We can't be having you with duct tape headphones.
The foam is popping out. I've had to. I've had the The headphones taped for a while now.
All right, we got it. The ones I'm using, I've had for 2 years. They've been.
You don't need to donate to the show fund.
They're from Amazon, and they were like $35 headphones. Okay, and they've lasted, and they're fine. I think Dusty bought the same ones as
These
well.
have been good. It's just that there was a loose string where like the threading on it.
How
was
long have you
coming
had
off.
those?
I've had these for 4 years now.
It's time. We got to get you some headphones. Go on Amazon. There's some for like $30. Let's get some.
I'm
Let's get
surprised
some.
you
You can
recognize
have
it from looking at the
People
stream.
are watching you on
I'm surprised
video.
that you can actually see the tape on there. But yes,
I didn't notice it until the text line brought it up.
Tape's been falling
I
off.
can't now. Now I clearly can see the difference
Oh,
on the
yeah,
left
it's,
side versus the right side.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's get you some new headphones. I think we need to. No, I don't need. We don't need to do the Venmo thing if you don't want. But
Don't.
but,
Hey, look,
we
no,
need
hold on, hold on.
$9.65 heroes.
I'm not asking you to send me any money. If you decide to send some, sure, I'll take it. But no, please, I'm not.
You see
asking
this Sean
you.
Sean Barber's still hanging around in studio, even though he's not out here. You're still here. Nobody can hear you talking right now.
If you want to, hop on the mic.
Nobody can hear you. Barber's just hanging out because he wants to hang out.
I'm doing work, man. I'm answering the emails. Like, listen, the beginners group doesn't pay me to get on the radio. In the middle
I
of
didn't
the
know
week.
his headphones were broken. Did you? They're all duct taped up,
Only thing
man.
I'm saying is you're telling him to get online and spend money on some earphones. I think he need to get online and buy that $59.59 gift card before the mirror. So don't let me come
Let him
in
get
here.
the headphones first before he pays you back.
Why would I do that? Why
Because
that doesn't-
future
Hold
income's
on.
dependent on his job,
Hold on,
so he's
hold on.
got to have the right headphones.
Barber said-
$9.65 heroes.
Barber said that in the playoffs, Dusty has a bet from the playoffs. So he should be going after. You should be going after Dusty.
Crown Jewel.
Point one. You should be going after Dusty.
Don't be throwing Crown Jewel in front of you. Don't be throwing nobody under the bus in front of you, bro.
Hey, somebody said on the text line earlier his name rhymes with Musty. That wasn't me. That was somebody on the text line.
Yeah, we got okay. You don't want to do the $9.65 hero. That's fine.
If they want to send me, if they want to Venmo me money,
Let's just
Venmo
get-
me money,
We
and
only
it'll
need
go for the headphones.
$40 for these headphones, $50 for these headphones or something. We just got to get you some new headphones, one way or the other. All right, up next. Up next, we'll get to what's trending. Then I want to get back into where this Chiefs defensive line is going to be tested. Surprisingly, the Broncos O-line in a few areas has been better than we thought. We'll talk a little bit about that next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
In honor of Veterans Day, we're celebrating those who have given the ultimate sacrifice by giving back to Tunnel to Towers. Tunnel to Towers is a foundation which helps America's heroes by providing homes to first responder families. Get to Twin Peaks and donate $5 to Tunnel to Towers through November 30th and receive $5 back to spend on yourself at Twin Peaks this December. Visit your favorite Twin Peaks for more information. Valid at participating locations.
After working with Max Motors and driving a brand new truck up to St. Joe for camp a couple years ago, I know where I'm going for my next vehicle. My car is about 10 years old. It is almost that time. And Max Motors has the best financing options available with the highest trade-in values in the Midwest. I've been shopping around online at maxmotors.com. You can do the same thing and take advantage of the largest heavy-duty sale of the year. Every new 2024 Ram 2500 in stock is 20% off MSRP. Max Motors, your Midwest dealer. See dealer for details.
Men, it's the holidays, a time of love and joy. But if you suffer from erectile dysfunction, the season can be tough on you. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you and your partner are experiencing struggles because of ED, change it up this year. Give the best gift you can give to the one you love by treating your ED and restoring your relationship. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts at treating ED. And as a Promenic restorative health practice, we've literally seen countless thousands of relationships renewed across the nation. Plus, with treatments having success rates well over 90%, coupled with many treatment options, we can likely find the right one for you. You may even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us and give your partner the best gift you can give this season. A renewed, restored relationship. Your first visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in our office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
We've had more than our fair share of hail and wind this year. Are you playing roofer roulette? That's when you bet your roof and your home on the first random roofer to ring your doorbell. Why do that when JR and Company offers a free hail and wind report online at jrstormcheck.com? Just plug in your address and we'll pull a multi-year storm report. You'll know exactly what your roof has been put through and if you even need an inspection. If you do, no one is more thorough and works better with your insurance than locally owned, veteran-owned JR and Company. And if you need a new roof, remember, a roof from JR comes with a lifetime warranty on workmanship. Don't play roofer roulette with your home. Visit jrstormcheck.com and remember,
you're always better with a roof from JR.
Visit jrstormcheck.com.
You've been waiting, and now is the time. Golden Oak Lending has fixed mortgage rates at 4.875%. But don't wait. This rate won't last forever. Call today and take advantage of our low 4.875 fixed rate. Call 913-890-GOLD. That's 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
5.784 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
If you've been thinking about selling your home, what's holding you back? Whether it's a bad experience or even a lack of experience, home selling can be stressful. The key is to trust an expert who has your best interest at heart, and that's Dawn Sharp and the Sharp Homes team, brokered by Epic Realty. Dawn is the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home, and she can even give you an instant offer if you want to skip the showings. Google my friend Dawn and her team at Sharp Homes Team and see over 200 5-star reviews, or check them out at homesforsaleandkc.com and start packing.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This holiday at T-Mobile, I'm joined by a special co-anchor.
What up, everybody? It's your boy, Big Snoop D-O-double-G.
Snoop, let's talk about T-Mobile.
Okay, cool.
This holiday, get 4 lines for $25 a line, plus 4 iPhone 16s with Apple Intelligence and the all-new camera control on us.
Let's get cracking, like a breakfast egg.
You can use those eggs to make some eggnog, Snoop.
Respect.
And people do love T-Mobile, where you can save on every plan versus the other big guy.
You know, y'all can take some of those savings and buy some Snoop merchandise.
Always a great stocking stuffer, Snoop.
We up out of here, so drop that jingle.
Hold your horses, Snoop D-O-double-G. Let's remind people one more time.
Head to T-Mobile.com and get 4 iPhone 16s with Apple Intelligence on us, plus 4 lines for $25.
With 24 monthly bill credits, 4 eligible trade-ins, and 4 new lines with autopay. Well-qualified customers plus taxes and fees and $35 per line connection charge. Cancel entire account before receiving 24 bill credits and credit stop and balance on required finance agreements due. $829.99. Credits end to be pay off device early. See how you can save on wireless and streaming versus the other big guys at T-Mobile.com/switch. Apple Intelligence available now.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Chiefs coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by award-winning Johnny's Barbecue in Olathe.
Football and barbecue fans, score big with Johnny's Barbecue tailgate packages. Whether you're hosting a home gate or a tailgate, Johnny's Barbecue has you covered. Check out our tailgate packages at johnny'sbbqkc.com. Located in Olathe and serving all of KC. Johnny's Barbecue. Taste the smoke.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. What's trending?
What's trending? Presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. Number one on What's Trending, we got an update on the injury status for a couple players with the Chiefs. Juju Smith-Schuster and Tershawn Ward not expected to practice today. That's a couple days in a row, and even the fact that it's a Thursday, I think you guys can obviously tell it looks like neither is likely to play on Sunday against the Broncos. It'd be a couple games in a row now for Juju, but they did not put him on IR, so you would think that they're maybe getting this thing right for the Bills game next week, and no need to rush the hamstring injury with the way the team's playing, knowing that it's a long season, this team's going to be in the playoffs. The Turk Warden one, obviously don't like seeing that, but it's called a knee contusion is what they're calling it. Good news is Mike Dana, Najee Johnson, both expected and back at practice to be 2 straight days of practice for them. Next up on What's Trending, Thursday Night Football tonight, Cincinnati, Baltimore, in Baltimore. Big-time game. We'll probably talk a little bit more about this after What's Trending as well. But an opportunity to kind of end this thing, if you're Baltimore with Cincy, an opportunity for Cincy to get to 500, and all of a sudden people will really, you think people are talking themselves into Cincy now? Oh, boy, it'll be obnoxious. Be obnoxious, Drew, if Cincinnati wins tonight. Next on What's Trending, injuries in the NFL. Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence dealing with a left shoulder injury. Ian Rappaport reporting that he's getting treatment, weighing options for the future. A source telling him that he is now considered unlikely to play Sunday against the Vikings. That is What's Trending on Cody and Gold. Thanks again to Sean Barber for joining us in the studio. It's always fun to have him.
Always is good to see Barber.
He couldn't believe, I was telling him as we were discussing your headphones being ripped and how you need new headphones because you're using duct tape. He couldn't believe that when he saw them. But then also, we were joking about the listeners helping you for the suit and stuff. And our listeners are obviously very, very supportive. And we appreciate that. They are the best. And he didn't understand what we meant by the $9.65 heroes and the 610 heroes. And I was like, wow, we used to call them 610 heroes because $6.10 Venmo account for Drew. And now they're $9.65 heroes. And then I explained to him the couch story. And you should have seen the look. Guys, you should have seen the look on Sean Barber's face. Some of you are new listeners now that we're on 96.5, so you weren't around when we had the couch story. Yeah, well, it relates to your current situation with the headphones.
It does.
And there was a time when Drew was moving out. Thank goodness got out of that apartment. We also were discussing that a lot on the air at the time. You got out of your apartment when you were going to get a new couch, right? So you had an old couch, and you put it on Facebook Marketplace, didn't you?
I did.
And Barbara's like, yeah, that makes sense. I go, no. No, just wait.
Never again.
No. Someone offered to buy Drew's couch, as we know, for how much initially?
I don't even remember what it was, to be honest.
$100, $200?
$200.
$200, we'll call it. And I explained to him.
It was more than that, actually, I think. But anyways.
I explained to him that you, for your couch, Venmo'd the person that was buying your couch. As in, you were selling an item and you paid someone for your own item.
Take my couch.
And Sean Barber covered his face and couldn't believe that happened. I said, oh, yeah, we couldn't either at the time. I bring that back up today because the listeners stepped up then. Someone brought up a good point. We actually should make Cody sell the box that I said we should never have bought as a show since we weren't going to sell it.
There have been people who have said they would buy things. I wonder if Cody actually
I think someone tomorrow suggested they might buy the box of crap for $200.
Oh.
They're saying we should use the show fund to buy you headphones, and I actually agree. So whatever money we get from that box, I know Cody's not here today, and he's going to be back tomorrow. We'll talk with him. It's a show decision. But I think we should use the show fund to get you a new pair of headphones since, it's needed to do the show.
Funny enough, a new pair of headphones is on my Christmas list.
All right, so how nice are these headphones? I'm just talking about getting some headphones just to get you some headphones.
These headphones are $45.
Okay, let's do that. The show will take care of your headphone situation. Whether it's the show fund or Cody and I or whatever, we got to get you the headphone situation. I didn't realize you were using.
Yeah, but
you got duct tape. Come on, and we're on video. We don't need you having duct tape on the headphones.
This is the first time that I've been on video this much. So, in fact, again,
Well, you've been kind of co-hosting a little bit more today.
It's a little bit darker, but yeah, I'm surprised you can see the tape. I did show you, and because you hadn't seen it before, obviously, and you're like, oh yeah, all right, this is terrible. It is tough.
Someone says, can I buy a Cody and Gold t-shirt? We do not have any for sale. When we first started the show back in 2020, we bought some shirts. We handed a bunch out. There's like 4 or 5 left, maybe somewhere around here. As far as buying them, no. We're hoping to do another t-shirt release for our show. Now, the station shirts, next time we have public events, sometimes we have the new 96.5, the fan shirts you've seen us wearing. Those you might be able to just get. If you guys went to the Royals watch parties we did at Jefferson's, we handed out t-shirts there. As far as the actual Cody and Gold ones, as a work in progress, we'd like to do another release of Cody and Gold t-shirts.
Someone said, I'm about to scratch off a $10 scratcher. If I win, it will go towards the headphones.
Okay.
Okay. You're very generous of you.
Let us know. Let us know how that goes. But no. All right. We'll figure that out. And appreciate the listeners, as always, on that. I wanted to talk a little bit more about the Broncos on Sunday. One thing we were looking at was their offensive line, surprisingly, admittedly, in at least one area, they're the second best offensive line when it comes to pass protection. Some of the pass protection composite grades that are out there, and basically pass block grades of tackles, guard, center. And this is talking about just true pass sets only. But the Colts were number 1 on this. The Broncos were number 2. And if you were wondering, the Chiefs were number 6. The reason why I think it's interesting is this is a really good test for the Chiefs front 4. Yes, front 7, but the 4 defensive linemen not having to blitz. And that would be because if you look at who the Chiefs have faced, their opponents, nobody's been as high as where the Broncos are for this conversation, offensive line-wise. The Ravens are now 5th. That'd be the closest. The Niners were 10th. The Bucs were 12th. Raiders 13th. Who else do they play here? Falcons were 18th. Cincinnati 19th. Chargers 20th. That's where it ranks. So this would be, by this metric, and it's not an end-all be-all, but by this metric, the Broncos will be the best offensive line in this area that the Chiefs are going to face all season. And Bo Nix is mobile as well, coupled with that. So I think it's a really good test to judge, especially with Mike Dana coming back. Even if you're not going to have Turk Warden, it looks like that's a loss. But Mike Dana, George Karlaftis, who we didn't get to that conversation today, but George Karlaftis has been really, really turning it on here the last couple weeks. He's got 4 sacks on the season, but he's been much better, I think, the last few weeks. And so what does that front 4 do on the defensive line? We know Spags can manufacture the blitz. That's part of his MO, his style, what makes him great, disguising blitzes. They can blitz, and I imagine they will, because surprisingly, Bo Nix, other than Lamar Jackson, has more explosive plays of 20 or more than any other quarterback in the NFL. How do you limit that? I'm not worried about them truly winning one-on-one matchups with the Chiefs' corners, even with the corner situation. Certainly not with Trent McDuffie on Cortland Sutton at times. But tight ends, wide receiver screens, running backs in the flat, that's the area where I think the Broncos will try to have success with Bo Nix, getting him out, bootlegs, play action. And so I think this will be an area, if you think this ends up being a really close game, and we know the Chiefs typically play close games anyway, but if it's going to be like last year where you think the Chiefs will make a mistake against the Broncos and all of a sudden the Broncos upset Kansas City and snap that, 16-game losing streak Denver had to the Chiefs going back to the Peyton Manning days in Denver, I think the Chiefs are going to have to get pressure. Let's see how they do it. Can they do that without having to blitz? That's always the name of the game. Can they do that without having to blitz? I know they can blitz, but can they do it without having to do that?
Yeah, if you're able to get it to 4, I think that with 4, it makes it obviously a lot easier. I think, in a way, based on how you're saying it, it's not how we're going to judge the defense going forward, or the defensive line going forward, but it's a benchmark test for, against this sort of pass protection, can you generate pressure without having to blitz? And, obviously you learn stuff about your team throughout the season, and as it goes on, this is just another one of those tests where you shouldn't lose the game. This is an individual position group look of, hey, can Chris Jones, can George Karlaftis, and the rest of the defensive line find a way to generate that pressure without having to bring anybody extra? And I wonder, just going forward, obviously they're not able to make any moves, because the trade deadline is passed, but you're getting a Menahu back. You've got Uche, obviously, as well. A lot of people are excited to continue to see him as he progresses in his time as a Chief. But I wonder if this is, the way you're saying it is more like this is a benchmark.
Yeah, it's a good test.
For learning halfway through the season, where does this defensive line stand in its own right without having to get help? Maybe.
In this metric, they're better. They're listed better than the 49ers, but the 49ers were also a good test. Trent Williams, obviously a future Hall of Fame left tackle, as you were talking about. They've had that test, but overall, and it's just a grading system. It's not as a perfect science. This would say in true pass set grades, the Broncos are the second best in football.
Definitely, that in and of itself, along with the...
And this is PFF, right? This is Pro Football Focus. We joke about them all the time, but that's where this is coming from.
That along with the big play thing is interesting. Just to have those two, I guess, meshed together where we see Bo Nix's ability to avoid sacks. And is the pressure or is the offensive line really that good? Like what all goes into the grades? Obviously, sacks a lot, pressures a lot, and all that other stuff makes it interesting. I just think if they do bring pressure... and they have success, or say they're not able to get there with 4 as often. We'll just see how much pressure they can put, because if they're not getting sacks, but they're getting to Bo Nix and they're
pressure rate.
They're collapsing the pocket and making him feel uncomfortable. That is as much of a win, I think, as actually getting to Bo Nix and bringing him down.
All right, tonight, Thursday night football.
Let's go.
Cincinnati, Baltimore. In Baltimore, Ravens 5.5, 6-point favorites, depending on where you look. Cincy was as much as 6.5-point dogs last night. Talked about this game on my betting show. If you missed that, you can check it out. Our Odyssey app, of course, wherever you get your podcasts as well. Every Wednesday night, 6 to 7. One, I think it's going to be a really good game, so I'm just excited for that. We've had a good run of Thursday night games. This will be the third week in a row I think we have a really compelling game. Last week it was Jets-Texans. Turned out to be a really fun game, right? Garrett Wilson had an unbelievable catch. Jets, I won't say upset because they were favorites, but for some people, the Jets upset the Texans. That's how most people would perceive it. The week before was that Rams-Vikings game. So it's been a good stretch of games. I think that continues tonight. And if you're a Chiefs fan, you're saying, why should I watch? One, it's a good football game, but it has implications for you. If Baltimore wins, don't be surprised if the national narrative picks back up about where they are as a team and, oh my gosh, look out for them kind of stuff. Don't be worried about the 1 seed. I think it's foolish for anybody to try to convince you that, if the Ravens win, it's not good because, the 1 seed, the Ravens are not going to be the 1 seed, guys. I thought we knew this a week or so ago. They're just not. The tiebreakers, the head-to-head tiebreaker, the math on the losses, unless you think Kansas City's dropping 4 games here pretty soon or something. It's just not going to happen. The number 1 seed conversation is the Chiefs and the Bills, in my opinion, but you can add in Pittsburgh just because the record. So Chiefs, Steelers, Bills. That is it. That is it for the number 1 seed. Baltimore is not getting the 1 seed. Texans, to me, are not getting the 1 seed. Look how they're playing. I think they're going to lose the Lions on Sunday and drop another one. So that's why you're okay, in my opinion, with having Baltimore win this game. Then, on the other side, your Cincinnati Bengals, Drew. If you guys win tonight, suddenly you're 500, and I'm sure you guys are all thinking you're fine and you're fixed and you're good to go. Baltimore needs to bury Cincinnati and just end this thing tonight. Eliminate a team from the playoff conversation altogether, please. Just be done with it.
You're begging them.
Yes. And I also think Baltimore's just a better team.
I think Dusty might be bolder than I am. He might be bolder than I am.
If they beat Baltimore tonight, they will win that division.
Okay. Look, everybody has a take. That's fine. Everybody has an opinion. I don't believe that to be
Dusty.
the case. Baltimore already beat Cincy won. So even if Cincinnati wins, it's a split. So it's not like Cincy suddenly has that tiebreaker. It's not like they're going for the sweep. Then I would understand that comment more. They would be split worst case scenario. And it's just not it just doesn't just happen by accident that you are a 4-win football team right now if you're Cincy. But I do understand if they win tonight, I expect Dusty and national people all to be saying, here come the Bengals, and it's going to be disgusting.
I do think it is interesting. The Steelers have not played one division game.
Their schedule is going to get really
season.
tough. That's why, to me, it's a Chiefs-Bills conversation.
Yeah, I agree. In terms of the 1 seed, it's only those two. If the Bengals win, then yeah, I think you're going to see more of the, I don't know about these Bengals. They might, in terms of they were having conversation nationally about who's the biggest threat to the Chiefs. Obviously, people will say the Ravens and the Bills, but they all of a sudden enter that conversation once again. It's all going to depend on how the defense plays. as to whether or not they make the playoffs or not, in my opinion.
Sure. Here's the... Go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, because Joe Burrow, at this point, has got the offense clicking in a way that they're a playoff football team. He's playing at an MVP caliber level, but the defense, to the point that you and Cody have brought up, has not been good enough. That's why they're That's why they're in the position they're in right now.
Schedule just for both teams real quick, just to lay it out there. So, of course, they're playing each other tonight. Baltimore then goes to Pittsburgh after this. So they go from a game against Cincy to Pittsburgh. I mean, 2 brutal games back-to-back. Then Chargers, Eagles, Giants, Steelers again at home, at the Texans hosting the Browns. That's the next remaining games for the Baltimore Ravens. On the flip side, in Cincinnati, what do they have? Obviously, Baltimore tonight. Then they go to L.A., They go to L.A. to play the Chargers. They host the Steelers, go to Dallas, who probably won't have Dak, go to Tennessee, host Cleveland, host Denver, and the last week of the season at Pittsburgh, which could decide whether Cincinnati's in the playoffs or not if they win tonight. Because can we get one thing on the record? If Cincy loses tonight, will you admit that it's just not going to happen for you?
I don't know. I'm looking at the schedule. You think if
Cincy gets to 4-6 and swept by the Baltimore Ravens, if that happens,
if they're 4-6, they have to go 5-2 the rest of the way to make the playoffs. I think 9-8, based on what we've seen.
9-8.
No, hold on. If they make that's the thing. If they make the playoffs, if they go 9-8 and they make the playoffs, the season's reset. I think 9-8, based on what we've seen right now. I don't think it's crazy to say that right now. If you look right now, the Colts are 4-5, they're the 8. The Broncos are 5-4, they're the 7. The Broncos schedule gets tougher.
It does, and I think, in fairness, I think the Broncos will not make the playoffs either. I think it's the Colts, Chargers, and Ravens wild card.
I think the Colts schedule is lighter. The Chargers, their remaining schedule,
they're just better though.
After Tennessee, they have the Bengals, the Ravens, the Falcons, the Chiefs, the Buccaneers. 9 games might get you in as the 7 seed. So I don't think it's out of the question to say they finish 5-2 even after losing this game that they potentially make it. Mac today,
it's
told me that
crazy
he thinks
though.
the Bengals lose, but they can still make the playoffs.
I just think it's amazing how it must just be still the 2 years ago or that we all acknowledge that Joe Burrow, of course, we all agree is very, very good. It must just be like the thought, like this magically the defense won't matter. Their defense is so bad, though. There's a reason why they're where they're at. If they get to 4-6, they have to win 2 in a row just to get to 500. I don't, and this is a divisional game too.
I think the situation is the exact same as what Joe Burrow said when they played the Ravens last. That he has to be damn near perfect. That's what he said. I got to be damn near perfect to win football games because the defense stinks.
Yeah, like how many AFC North teams made the playoffs last year? Just 2, right?
Yes.
Or 3. Cleveland, Baltimore.
Okay, that's right. Cleveland. Yeah,
3?
It was 3.
So 3 obviously can make it. But right now, the Ravens or Steelers, to me, are winning the division. So however you want to arrange it, if you think ultimately Baltimore wins the division, fine. Okay, so Baltimore wins the division. Pittsburgh's then the wild card. I think the wild card's going to be Pittsburgh in this scenario, along with the Colts and Chargers. Hell, the Jets might be, you want to talk schedule, they might be better positioned than Cincy to get it, Drew, if your Bengals lose tonight. That's all. If they win, I'll hear you and I'll understand. If they win, you'll feel a lot better, but I just don't think they're that good.
I'm excited for tonight, baby.
All right, enjoy the game tonight. We're back at it tomorrow. I believe Cody will be back with us tomorrow as well. For now, we hand things off to CDOT and Rob on the drive. I think I'm calling into their show at 2:30 to talk some sports betting.